I was muted. I was muted. Anyway, okay, let's try again. Good evening, gamers, and welcome back to That Warhammer Talk Show, the most professional live stream in Warhammer. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you're doing well. It is Monday, my dudes. It is 6:30. We are starting the stream like professionals today. Let's go. Thank you very much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. How is everyone today? Thank you for tuning in. I'm wearing a brand new t-shirt. It's my favourite Warhammer channel ever. Look, it's Tabletop Tactics. Thank you for letting me purchase this on your website. How's it going, everyone? Thank you very much for tuning in. Today is a special episode. We have not a really special guest. We have Corrode of Goonhammer.com. You might have heard of them. Goonhammer.com. Probably the most visited Warhammer-related website on the planet, which we should save. Go watch my other video. Really appreciate it. But thank you very much for tuning in. He's going to be joining us in 30 minutes. So I've got a 30-minute warm-up show. We're going to get you all very spicy, very sexy, very slidey. So we can have a nice chat about Drukhari and how broken they are. And they're very slidey because they wear spandex. So how are we doing, everyone? Thank you very much for tuning in. It's not a clickbait title. It's a very legit title. It's a legit title. It's very good. But thank you very much for tuning in. Let's go. How's it going? Chat to Master Valrak, rubbing it in the fact that he sold my custodies to someone else again, but that's okay. Quentin, how's it going? DN Stuff, how's it going, brother? Grimslayer, hello. Adam, hello there. How are you? Lyle, you're loud enough to drown out the blender. Hello, blender. Ty winning, hello there. Master Mouse, I did a Varak. I did do a Varak. Jake 2 pence. Don't you press at me one again. I'm so fed up with it. Daddy Tubbs, hello there. Hello, Capping Chaos. Hello. Hellstorm Highbot says Jamarty just subscribed for 11 months in a row. Let's go, gamers. 11 months in a row. Thank you very much, buddy. We appreciate it. Okay, have you got a Prime? Exclamation point Prime in chat. I would appreciate that a lot. Exclamation point Prime. Check it out. Let's go. Also, if you don't have Prime, you can become a member right here on YouTube by pressing join. And you get your name in the end credits, right? How cool is that? Hello, everyone. Team Merchant. Hello, Freelancer. Hello, Matt Mullet. The new meta is Grey Knights with 5 Dread Knights, probably. I've been seeing your name a lot because it's a Monzo logo. It's a Monzo logo. It keeps reminding me. Liam Dempsey. Hello. Hello, Liam. How are you? Burgosaurus, good evening. EJD, thank you very much for the subscription. 2 months in a row. And that's a sub. Let's go, gamers. How can the meta be healthy if my mates keep beating me? Tell them to stop bullying. Benabaris92, thank you much for the Prime. Let's go. Exclamation point Prime in chat. Exclamation point Prime. Give me that Bezos box. I want the Bezos box right now. Deep Fried Fred, let's go, gamers. Hello. Thank you much for the host as well. Exclamation point host. Looking forward to the Gladius event. It's going to be very good. I posted a picture of the sword today. Did you see? Did you see the sword? I was very excited. I was showing off my weapon in chat. Hey, thank you much for the host. Really appreciate it. Hello. It's very nice to be welcomed in such a great way with primes and subs and hosts. It makes me feel very good, so thank you. When I feel good, it means we get a good stream. Look at this sword. Look at this damn sword. It's humongous. There are still tickets. Especially point merch in chat. You should be able to get a ticket. And you can come win this sword. Liam Dempsey for 8 months in a row. Let's go. It's a Prime. My apologies. We've currently got a hype train going on Twitch. Let's keep it up. Let's see how far we can get that hype train. Let's get to level 3. Level 3 or 69%, whichever is closer. We're currently 94% at level 1. So if you're watching on Twitch, then try and get it to 69% because I love 69. T for 2, as someone said the other day to me. And that made me meals for 2, 69. I think that's the bingo way of saying it. When you say 69 in bingo, you say meal for 2. And I think that's pretty pogchamp. I don't know about you. Appreciate it. But thank you, everyone. Hello. Is it for best painted army? No, because you didn't paint it. It don't count. But how's it going, everyone? Thank you for tuning in. Look out, sir. Good evening. Oh, look at all the celebrities and DC. Oh my God, I am honoured to have so many fantastic people who have channels. So make sure you go check them out. And also everyone else who doesn't have channels, you're marginally better than them. I don't know why, but you are, and I love you. Thank you. Prove it. Dustin, chat to Master Varric. Dustin is not painted. It is not the same. It is not the same. Is my Invictor here? No, I don't have an Invictor. Sparkplug, thank you much of the Prime. Let's go. Enjoy your Prime book. Let's go. Thank you, Jeff Bezos. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you, Jeff. Let's get a thank you, Jeff, in chat. Thank you, Jeff, for making me get money from you for free. Thank you, Jeff, for just giving me your money via people's primes. Did you know less than 1% of people actually use their Amazon Prime every month? Less than 1%. If everyone used their Amazon Prime to get a Twitch Prime sub, Amazon would take such a big hit, they would probably have to delete Twitch. So, let's try and get Twitch deleted. Let's go! Let's go. My wife has Prime. Then DC, look, listen. Exclamation point Prime in chat. Type that in. It'll give you a link. It'll tell you what to do. You go into Twitch. You press Prime now. You press subscribe. Prime for free. I get money. You get emotes. It costs you nothing except for a little bit of time. And together we can take down Twitch. Together we can destroy Twitch. That's what we actually want to do. But it's exciting. There you go. Twitch.amazon.com/Prime. Hell yeah, Beanbag, just subscribe to Twitch Prime. Let's go, Beanbag. Thank you much, bro. Thank you much. Thank you so much for that Prime. Really appreciate it. Beanbag pants. I love Beanbag's pants. Didn't work? What do you mean didn't work? It's there. It says got Twitch, got Amazon Prime. Link in Amazon Prime to your Twitch account. It says it right there. SN Twitch account incoming, right? Come on, DC, you can do this. I believe in you. Twitch.amazon.com/Prime. Too late, I spat in his mouth. Marek does actually have herpes. Mikey, you forget this is DC as the IT skills of a potato. Very true. Very true. But thank you very much. Thank you for trying. You know, it's the thought that counts at the end of the day. It is the thought that counts. It's not what you do with your time. It's what you think about doing with it. And I think that's important because I procrastinate a lot. You're going to die. I love you, Mikey. Well, thank you, Alex the Bird. Thank you for the foretelling. I really appreciate it. Thank you for telling me I'm going to die. Is that because I got herpes from Varrock? I mean... Potatoes, one up on DC. You can use it as a battery. What's that song that plays when someone subscribes? It's called Bezos 2. It's called Bezos 2 by Bo Burnham. Hopefully it won't get mad when I play that, but it is by Bo Burnham from inside. Hate that you can't prime for mobile. No, mobile sucks. Mobile does suck. They're going to be adding renewing subscriptions soon on iPhone, but it is bad. It is pretty bad. Prime sub because it's been too long since we have seen Pokemon cards. It has been a while since we saw Pokemon cards. I do have a box full of Pokemon cards next to me. In my no retreat invite box, it is a Pokemon card box now. If we all sub on Twitch, Mikey will go to space. I promise, if I get 1 million Twitch subscribers, I will go to space. That means I will be earning approximately $3 million a month. So I think I could probably keep that promise. But how's it going, everyone? Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for all the support. Thank you for all the subs, the Prime subs, well, we've got no members yet, but we might get a member. No super chats yet. We might get some super chats. You never know. But thank you very much for tuning in. It's a very exciting episode. We're back on the grind. That Warhammer Talk Show. Episode, 5, I think it is now. The best Warhammer Talk Show on the internet. Could please just become a member. Let's go. Let's go, Mikey to the moon. Let's go, gamers. Thank you much for the member, bro. Prime Ice Cream Max says, let's go. I love it. I love it. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. You can send all the spare sprues back to GDB from space. Can you imagine? I'm going to go to space and throw sprues from the rocket into the atmosphere so they burn and don't go into landfill. Me at my sprues. Good luck, gamers. But it's very exciting. It is That Warhammer Talk Show. The only Warhammer Talk Show you need to come on and watch every single Monday at 6:30. Sometimes we don't have guests. Sometimes it's a solo show. I am the talk show. I am the drama, as Antonio from DGames Paper would say. Hello there, dude. How's it going? Thank you much for going to member. Chapter Master Valrak. Hell yeah. Let's go. Alright, I will resubscribe to your membership when it runs out. Because I did. Hey, yeah, thank you much for the pride. Thank you much for the pride. Let's go. Jeff Bezos right in my pocket. Thank you. Really appreciate it, ADR Wargaming. Thank you for the memberships, Valrak, Gumbelina. Thank you for all the primes. Thank you for all the primes. Very, 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 very kind of you. Joined for the memes but stayed for the Dolphins. Hell yeah. But yeah, it is Monday. It's the Warhammer Talk Show. We're going to be talking to Corrode, or Liam from Goonhammer, from goonhammer.com. We are going to slag off a lot of Drukhari. But we're going to be talking about Drukhari and how busted they are. But if you are in Discord, !Discord in chat, you should be. Especially if you're a member or a Twitch sub, because you get more access. There's a channel in there called That Warhammer Talk Show Topics, or Talk Show Topics for short. And you can ask Liam questions directly. And I'll ask him. I'll ask him anything you like. I'm going to ask him one topic in particular. I'm going to be talking about Drukhari after the balanced data slate. But if you want to ask him why he hates Tau, I will ask him. What else have we got? We've got, I think there's a couple of good ones. Talk show topics in premium chats. What is it? Does he like gravy or curry sauce? I will ask him that as well. It's one of those shows where I will ask them anything you want. Ask about pegging. If you want me to ask him if he's ever been pegged, make sure you put it in the Discord topics. Come for the Warhammer talk, but stay for the infectious laugh that is a trademark of this channel. I do have a really bad laugh. I have a really, really bad laugh because when I laugh, I like wheeze. I'm like, right? And then I can taste blood, which I don't think is healthy. I think I should probably get that checked out. But also, if they make me change my laugh, I'm just like, I've got nothing left. I'll have nothing, right? I'll have nothing left. What will I have to show? What will I have to show if I lose my laugh? Headphones broken. Oh, brilliant. We get frosted tips like Varak. If we hit, we are currently at 75, 76 members. If we hit 100 members, I will ask Georgie. If we hit 150 members today, I will. If we hit 100, I'll ask Georgie very nicely. That really isn't healthy. No, it's not healthy. I don't think it is. Thanks for the follow. I really appreciate it. I played Drukhari this weekend at 40k Brawl in Pool, eh? Am I doing it wrong with only 6 Talos? I think you might be doing it wrong. What's this clip? Ah! That is a good laugh, I'd say. Hey, thank you much for the red prop for the prime. Let's go! Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Thank you for that. Join the Frosted Gang. Mikey and Varrett formed the first Frosted Tits boy band in Warhammer. It's a good laugh. Run with it until my throat dies. Yeah, I'll run with it. Until the doctor says, you know, that's not healthy, your throat's gonna die. I'll be like, yeah, fair. Lambastian, how's it going, Jay? Thank you much for the follow. I really appreciate it. Our band name is Northern Powerhouse. Our band name is the Northern Powerhouse. Red Path, how you doing, man? Thank you very much for the Prime. Really appreciate it. How are you today? Thank you for sharing my video. Everyone who's watched my recent video that I released yesterday, thank you so much. It is by far my best performing video in the first 24 hours. It has 3 times as many views as my second best video in 24 hours, which is very cool. So I am an environmentalist channel now. I'm just going to talk about how Games Workshop polluted the planet. How do you think your Discord? Ooh, if a mod could get a link to explain how to do that and add it as a command, that'd be mint. That would be mint. Any tips for starting Warhammer 40k? That's a great question, Doc Toxic. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you. Welcome to the stream. And thank you very much for chatting for the first time. The best way to start Warhammer is to drag a friend into it at the same time, right? And both buy, like, either a couple of units, like a character and then like a unit each, or like if you can, then the combat patrol boxes. They're like a really good starting point for Warhammer. Choose a faction that you like. If you don't know any factions, I'd suggest like reading up on a couple, like read up on Space Marines, because everyone has to. It's like it's the law in Warhammer, in 40k in particular. Read up on Space Marines and then like find out who they're killing, and then have a read of them as well and see if they sound cooler, because usually they do. I'm dragging my wife. Excellent, right? Excellent. Okay. Find out who your wife wants to play. Like, what army your wife would like to play. And then choose, like, an opposing faction. So if they choose Eldar, choose, like, an Imperium faction. Hey, time for thank you much for the 4 months, you babe. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. If they like Tyranids, then you can go for Space Marines. If they like Necrons, you could go for Space Marines. If they like a good faction, like, well, good in inverted commas, like Space Marines, you could go for like Chaos Space Marines or Death Guard. She likes a steampunk Adeptus Mechanicus. It's a great faction. A lot of variety in that faction. So it depends what you kind of like, because you could go for the complete opposite of evil. She wants to play good robots. Again, good in inverted commas. You could play bad robots. You could look at Necrons, right? You could look at Necrons. Or if there's like a book you like, or if there's a book with Admech in there that's particularly fighting a faction, you could like go that way. The Vibrary Ultramarines, but Ultramarines are the poster boys, so you are going to be fine with those. And Space Marines are like good all around. They're like the baseline for Warhammer. They're like average, right? You get a good amount of stuff. It's all pretty good, you know? Whereas some factions, you get loads of stuff, but it's not very good, but you got loads of it. And some factions, you don't get hardly anything, but it's all really good. So. Went to Canada and got my buddy from college into Orcs. Excellent, Adam. Nice. I saw you was in Canada. I hope you had a good time. The only good guys who 40k are Necrons. The only good guys who 40k are Tau, and everyone hates them. So maybe there's no good guys. Chandalf the Grey, thank you much for the follow. Really appreciate it. I just bought Gullum on my lunch. Nice. Nice. Gullum is a cool model. I enjoyed painting Gullum. Go Dark Angels, First Legion, Best Legion. Did you watch Captain Planet as a kid? I have no idea what Captain Planet is. Audible is amazing for Warhammer audiobooks. There you go. Listen to your audiobooks. See what you like. Go for a faction you think it's cool. Buy a little starter set. Play a few games. You know? If you like... The problem is you can't... There isn't really like an Admech starter set at the minute. But there's a Combat Patrol, but not like for 2 players. So you'd both have to buy one. Buy one each. They're about the same point, so they're quite well balanced against each other. Play those. See how you find it. You might like another faction in a bit. That's cool. You might love Ultramarines. That's also cool. The great thing about Ultramarines is you can pick up the Blood Angel or the Space Marine Combat Patrol, because they're both just generic Space Marine units. One of them's just painted red, but in the Blood Angel one you get different units. So go for like whichever one you like the most. Don't go for the Death Watch one, because like specific Death Watch, but like the Blood Angel one and the Space Marine Combat Patrols are both like good for a Space Marine, any Space Marine faction, not Blood Angels in particular. It just won't come with Ultramarine transfers, but you can get those later. You get them in like every box set, so. But I digress. I digress. I have a good painted warsuit for sale. In Blood Ravens, if interested. Oh, really? Is it wet? Is it covered in seaweed? Is it got algae growing on it? Is it got little, what are they called? Is it barnacles? The little white things? 6 boxes of Qatari and the Marshall set rides up. No, we don't do that, EJ. We don't do that, EJ. None of that. But as I said, we digress. Today we're going to be talking about Drukhari and Goonhammer and how busted Drukhari still are even after the balance patch. So I wanted to make a Dark Angel Patrol. Is that just generic Space Marines as well? Hey, thank you very much to Michael Stockwell for becoming a member. Let's go, gamers. Thank you very much for becoming a member. Really appreciate it. If you want to become a member, press join down below. That'd be very cool, very epic. You get your name in the credits, and you get a massive thank you from me, and you support the channel and keep us going. Does a Dark Angel Patrol, is that generic? Well, maybe you could look at the Dark Angel one as well, but then run them as Ultramarines. Just don't. So that's 3 boxes you can look at. I can't remember your username. The guy who was asking what to start with. Doc Toxic. There you go. There's 3 boxes you can look at. Dark Angel, Blood Angel, and Space Marines. And Christmas box sets coming soon. Christmas box sets are being announced on Thursday, so that's also another good way to start. Well, there you go. But thank you everyone for tuning in. Really appreciate it. And thank you. I may have already bought something. Can I list it? Yeah? If you want. Buying secondhand's good, but when you're first starting, I think it's nice to get like new miniatures and like get equal forces, because the combat patrols are like 500 points each. You know, they're like the same size armies. So at least if that's all you buy, you can have like equal games against each other, which is cool, especially when you're first starting out. That's what you want. You want like equal. You don't want to be like, I'm just gonna get loads of stuff off eBay. And loads of stuff for you off eBay. I've got no idea what it is because I didn't build it. It's all broken, you know. So I think Combat Patrols is the where to go. I just bought second. Yeah, but Valorant, you've been in the game for like a year at least. At least 1 year. I'm aware of the best of your life because you're a traitor. Because you're a massive traitor. Listen, Valorant has this habit of being like, hey, Mikey, I've got this cool stuff. Do you want to buy it? Right? He's like, thanks to the host, Des. Really appreciate it. He's like, do you want to buy this? And I'm like, yeah. Yes, Valrak, I do. That'll be very cool. Thank you. And I will buy it. And when I see you, or I'll send you the money now. He doesn't send me his PayPal. He doesn't send me his bank details. He just says you can have it. And I'm like, all right, cool. I will give you money for that. And then he goes on his stream and goes like, who wants this? Who wants this? Mikey wants it, but do you want it more? And then just gets people to pay more money than me. It's bullshit. Oh, soz Mikey, someone offered me more money. It's like, if you wanted more money, you could have said you wanted more money. I would have probably given it you. Maybe not some of the prices people offer because they're absolutely psycho, but capitalism. It's not capitalism. It's super chat baiting. Typical man, right? It's a scam. Scam rack. Scam rack in chat. Let's go. Scam rack. Scam rack. Absolute scalper. He is a scalper. A big scalper. He's terrible for it. That's a nice start. Yeah, that is a nice start. You got quite a lot to play with this. So you need to get a little admit force. Take Gulliman out, right? Get yourself a little normal character, because Gulliman's quite powerful. He is a Primarch of the Ultramarines. He's the big bad boss. He's leading all the good guys. Get yourself a small character. Get your wife the Admech, start collecting, and have a couple of games. Exploiting chat rack. A librarian, yeah, librarian's a good shout. Does he want an Admech force? I'm selling one. I joined as a member to avoid scam. I appreciate it, Michael Stockwell. I thank you very much for becoming a member. If anyone else wants to become a member, that would be very cool. That'd be very epic. Very cool. Very, very cool. It's wood and a scam rack. Our combat patrol's still found off the point changing. They're not bang on. They'll be close though. They'll be very close. Very, very close. Because the points changers do change things, but like they won't obviously update the products that they sell. So my Talos just came in today, see you in 3 months. I want some more. I have 6 Talos. I want some Kronos, and that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So I'm going to be phoning Liam in about 5 minutes. We've got 5 minutes to chill while Kev Cochrane comes in with the prime. Thank you very much, boss. We appreciate it. How are you tonight? Thanks for tuning in, Kev. I preemptively bought a lot of custodies. I've been getting out my spare custodies that I need to paint. I've got 2 dreadnoughts that I need to paint. I've got Valerian and hit the sister. And I've got some Sagittarium Guard to paint. They're based on power level, I think. Ah, look out, sir. Very good point. Very good point. Very, very good point. Very, very good point. Yeah, they'll be based on power level, so they will be matched. Because power level don't really change very much. I'm about to paint 3 Galatas Dread to bang on eBay. Nice. My Crusaders are all painted. That sounds nice. That sounds nice. I'm hyped for the Mikey versus Winter Showdown. Yeah, that might be happening this week. That might be happening this week. I don't know. You'll have to wait and see. What's the verdict? Oh, they turned down. Reza Prime, thank you much for tuning in, buddy. We appreciate it. How are you? We're going to be talking to Liam in 5 minutes. We're going to be calling him on Discord. We're going to have a chat about Drukhari and all the things. Because he's a very good Drukhari player. He's played them a long time. So, I think they didn't. That's why the title is what it is. However, we'll be talking to a Drukhari expert who writes for greenhammer.com. There's a new Spider-Man trailer tomorrow. Yeah, there is. I can't wait to watch it. Pretty sure you can get some cheap alt buggies on eBay, right? But yes, I've got some new custodians I want to paint up, ready for the Codex drop. I'm tempted, very tempted to build a shield. Swordman. I want to build a swordman. Hellstorm, what are you staying over? I haven't got anywhere to stay. I need to message Elliot actually, see if he's still coming. But yeah, I would like to come. I thought it was only 1 day. I didn't realize it was a whole weekend. New custodian, yeah, the custodians are getting new codex sometime this month or next month. We don't know yet, but they are getting one because they announced it. Gotta finish my Venetari, Sagittarian, Valdor, and Unit Sister Silence. I do have Valdor as well, but I don't know what to do with him. Blade Champion, there we go. Thank you. A shield the bitch. Yeah, I hope Wardens are good. I imagine they're gonna get Bodyguard. That would be pretty sick. Imagine Wardens get Bodyguard, actually worth taking. Not got any characters to protect. Ginger Steve has a house rented. Is there space in the house? Because if there is, I might do. New units you're adding. Ah, okay. So yeah, 2 dreadnoughts. I've got a spear one and a shield one. I need to build and paint. I've got Valerian, the shield captain. I've got Sagittarium Guard, and that's it so far. I'm really stoked about the Necron training. Yeah, I've been painting up some Necrons as well. Coco said he uses zombie in a chair as a character. No, sadly not. Sadly not. But yeah, that's what I'm planning. That's what I've got to add to the custodians, and then I'll buy. Hey, Dog Toxic, thank you much for the prime. Let's go. First time chatter, first time primer. Let's get some claps in chat. Let's get some salutes on Twitch. Thank you very much to Dog Toxic for welcome to the stream. Welcome to the fam. Welcome to the small board gang. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Opportunity strikes. I have a honeymoon suite to myself, 1 dreadnought, and a few inhibitions. Brilliant. Brilliant. Glad to finally see Sister Silence and Crusaders together in one credit. Yeah, it's cool. I'm surprised they didn't call the credits Talons of the Emperor, but that's fine. But yeah, I'm excited for Crusaders. I love them. The problem I have is I have a lot of armies. I don't know what to focus on. I've got too many. I'm like, oh, I could paint some Necrons. I could paint some Knights, because Knights are cool. I've got those armies to paint. I could paint some Cruel Boys, because I need to paint for AOS. Or I could paint some Custodians. I don't know what to do. However, Shut up, Scamrack. Brilliant. Just kick out chat to Master Tiberius Garrett on Steve. You can sleep at the bus stop. Brilliant. Hello, am I still welcoming? No, Cheese, you're not. Get out. Get out. Do you have a painting stream? I don't usually paint on stream. They're a bit more ad hoc. I don't have a scheduled stream. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and now Thursday. Because this Thursday, I'll be streaming with Tom, and we're doing a live battle report. Let's go, gamers. Live battle rep coming at you. Coming at your face. Coming at your eyeballs. But this week I won't be streaming on Wednesday because I have a score to settle with a certain content creator. Doing Nids and Custodians to the side of Black Templars. Nice, Adam. Just finished a Redemptor. Nice, Reza. Cheese, thank you for inflating the price. Are you excited for AOS Nurgle? I am very excited for AOS Nurgle. But I want to pick my Corrode boys up as well. So. Okay. Okay. It looks like Corrode is well ready. Corrode is ready. Let's have a look. Okay, bye. Let's go. Okay, right, then we're going to call Liam, okay? We're going to call Liam. 1 second. Hello? Did you challenge Lawrence? I might have done. Hello? Hello? Currently, the stream can't hear you, so don't worry about anything you say. Oh, that's very kind, Liam. Oh, that's very kind. Let me just get you all set up. 1 second. Oh, it's not working. That's always a great start. 1 sec. Ah, beautiful. Are you ready to go live, Liam? I guess you must be. Brilliant. Okay, everyone, please welcome the lovely Liam from Goonhammer. There he is. You're looking very fine today. How are you?
Yeah, good, man. Good. You?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. Everyone's very excited to talk about Drukhari, I think. Are you excited to talk about Drukhari?
Yeah, I think it's interesting after the balance changes. It's definitely a different army now, I think.
Yeah, I agree. But thank you very much for coming on the show, dude. Really appreciate it. You are Corrode or Liam. Which one do you prefer?
Liam. Yeah.
Okay. Someone also, the first question, because this is a talk show, so the audience can ask questions live. One question was,
God.
Do you prefer corrosion or erosion?
I feel like corrosion has to be in the name, doesn't it? So.
I agree. But welcome, Liam. Thank you very much for joining us on That Warhammer Talk Show. You are from goonhammer.com.
I am.
And do you want to tell me a little bit about Goonhammer for those who would be very weird, but who don't know about it? Do you want to tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, so, I mean, I was going to say a 40k site. We're very much like a wargaming or tabletop gaming site in general, I guess. Mm. I think the way we often talk about it is like it's just a way to talk about stuff that we love. So, you know, we do video game reviews, we do board game reviews. We do talk about 40k a lot because that's kind of what we were all into when we started the site. So, yeah, and we do text-based content, which is pretty rare at the moment. I think it's mostly guys like yourselves doing videos, doing Twitch streams, that kind of thing.
I mean, everyone does videos, right?
Yeah, we've done 1.5 videos. I want to say we've done like a little post GHOUS. Yeah. Sort of sizzle reel kind of thing. But yeah, no, it's very much focused on the written content side.
Which is quite interesting because I think, like, on the outside, obviously I don't agree before this, but from people from looking in, you can be like, oh, writing articles is easy because you just have to write stuff, right? You don't have to edit or anything like that. But obviously, like, writing articles is super difficult because it is a challenge. Obviously, I am in a relationship with someone who, if I said articles are easy, would probably slap me a few times.
Her head's just perked up already. She's going to tell you off.
Stairs. She's running already. But from the outside, you would think like setting up to like write articles would be much easier because you get a domain, you get a website going, you just type away. But then everyone does videos, which is quite interesting. So, what made you start going down like the article route rather than like another type of media?
So, I mean, we originated out of the old Something Awful forums, which mostly forgotten about these days. Although a few people may sort of still remember them. But that was all written content. That was the old web 1.0 style sort of message board.
Yeah.
So we all kind of had an addition of just that's how we communicated to each other, and that's how we thought about the internet was written content.
Okay.
And then I think it's a few different things. Like we persisted with it in part because that's what we know, that's what we like doing, and I think that's what differentiates us. And also because we don't really have any of the setup to start a streaming channel or a video channel. We're very disparate in terms of our membership. We're all over the world. There's people in the UK, obviously. There's people in the US and Canada and Australia. There's not like a central sort of group of us that would be able to sort of knock out a streamed game every weekend or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
so I think it's that, and just there's a different space there. I think people genuinely love the written content. As something different to a video where you're reading at your own pace. It's easy to go back and reference.
Yeah, true.
It's a lot easier to kind of update and edit later as well.
With the start competing
stuff.
Very jealous of being like, because I think I had a conversation with One Wing or James, and I was just like, he said something like, imagine using a format of media where you can't just edit it at 2 a.m. because you got something wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the classic sort of video battle report where there's a little pop out saying like, we know we got this wrong, but we played it this way at the time. We didn't realize till later.
Yeah,
it's like, well, we can just go back and fix that.
Told us off 3 hours later.
Yeah, probably me on DMing you on Twitter like, hey dude, did you know this was wrong?
Yeah, it's quite funny because when I played Drukhari on the battle report, I think we had the codex for like 2 hours before I filmed with it, and then I completely read the Prophets of Flesh ability wrong, and I had a 40k rules writer DM me on the day of release. Be like, hey, do you know you got this wrong? I'm just like, please, for the love of God, of all people to message me, yes, I know I got this wrong, leave me alone. Also, popping
up like, hey, play my rules properly.
Right.
I wrote these well.
Yeah, I wrote them this one way, and I'm there like moaning on the chat on the battle report, like, oh, this rule's so stupid. It's so stupid.
Why would you write this? Like, yeah.
It's very bad. So, but yeah, so there's a bunch of you that write for Goonhammer from all over the world, and you say you came from like an old forum, was it? Like, what made you want to start writing? Is it for like a dedicated website rather than just like moving to like a different type of forum or something like that?
So we set up a Discord in about 2018, I want to say, because message boards are generally kind of on the way out, I think, and that one was kind of looking like it might kind of come to an end, and we wanted somewhere else to talk to each other. And that was great. Discord's fantastic, and we have a sort of very active group and a very sort of sociable group, but it's not great for like long form content. Sure. If you do like a battle report or even just like a post like showing your models off, like it's gone in minutes.
Yeah.
You can post it at 10 past, and at quarter past someone turns up and has no idea it ever existed.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, it was that we wanted somebody to put that kind of stuff, and we just set the thing up as a little blog, for ourselves. Really,
say, it sounds more like a blog to start with, and then it's
that's very much
absolute monster of everyone shouting at you for saying one thing when you're probably right and they disagree.
Yeah, well, that's very much what it was, and we started doing sort of small bits and pieces. James particularly just was interested in kind of writing some thoughts about Warhammer. He's a very kind of analytical kind of thinker, and there wasn't really anywhere else to put that stuff. So we were like, well, we've got this blog, we may as well post it up there and see if people are interested. And it turned out they were. And then they kept being interested.
Yeah, for sure. Because I'd say you're probably like the most viewed or most probably. I don't know the numbers of every other website, but I'd say you're probably one of the most popular wargaming related website, especially for 40k. I know.
Yes.
I know you cover other games, but I imagine you guys are like the go-to place because it's one of those places. Like, oh, the new codex is coming out. I've just read the Goonhammer article. That's just like, it's just like, I don't know. It's like bread and butter, It's like new codex, go see Goonhammer, Again, because you can read at your own pace, you can control F to find the actual bit you care about. It's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's interesting to kind of watch it get to that level because. We absolutely didn't expect that. We were very excited that people were reading like codex reviews and so on, but becoming a kind of standard like that isn't something we anticipated happening, I don't think, at least not initially.
Yeah, just a nice happy accident.
Yeah.
Wicked. But tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Let's talk about. We can mention Black Heart Wargaming Events, or we could talk about you as a gamer in general. Tell me a bit about yourself. Why are you good at Warhammer? Why should people read your stuff?
Well, I'm not James's. That's what you read his stuff.
I did like your little bio, which is in the description down below, because I ripped it from the website. We're just like, don't admit I write articles, but I do rip everyone else's to make sure they're right.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I mean, I've played Warhammer sort of on and off since I was a kid. I think probably sort of I was about 10 or so back in the year 2000, and you know, mate at school was interested, and then I was interested, and I picked up the 3rd edition starter set, which
nice.
Yeah, that cover has now made a triumphant return recently with the Black Templars box.
Sure has, yeah.
Yeah, that was a nice little touch. That one, I liked that.
Yeah.
And then I played, you know, on and off as a kid. I played a little bit with, you know, friends and so on, but I was more of a kind of, I guess, a buyer than anything else. I think it quite often happens to people where
they call it collected to sound fancy, which is like
exactly. Yeah. I wasn't keeping them in mint condition packaging, but absolutely, it was very much like a thing where I'd go and, you know, I'd buy cool models and then not really get around to painting them or even building them or playing with them. It was just like an interest. And I kind of got back into it at uni and played through you know, all of 5th edition and a little bit of 6th edition.
Yeah.
Took a little break during 6th edition. I was playing sort of Mech Guard at the time because I was a dick then as well. And
nothing changes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, early 6th edition was very, very hostile to mech. You know, they'd seen sort of 5th ed being mech based and were like, oh, we need to make vehicles a little bit weaker and make them easier to kill, and kind of went a bit too far the other way.
Yeah.
And you know, I was just out of uni and kind of casting around for jobs and stuff, and looking at my armies, going, "Oh God, I'm gonna have to like rebuild these from the ground up," and just didn't have it in me really.
Yeah,
and I don't think I missed anything. It sounds like 6th and 7th were terrible, to be honest.
It was pretty terrible. I think at the end of 6th edition, I was running Imperial Knights and Necrons. 2 Imperial Knights, an Obelisk. Because I think it was jet bikes were the in thing, and the Obelisk was actually good against fly, rather than just being like on a 6 you'd sneeze at them or something like that.
Just pretending to be good.
Yeah, it was actually decent, but yeah, it was pretty terrible. And then 7th edition was even worse. But yeah, so you did miss a lot. So did you come back in 8th edition then, like at the start?
Yeah, exactly. So I think I played Total Warhammer, and I got way into the first one. I think it's still like my most played game on Steam.
Nice.
Played a bit less of the second one, but yeah, it just made me think about Warhammer again, and I kind of had vaguely kept in touch, and you know, I was aware that Age of Sigmar had happened and things had sort of changed, but literally probably May 2017 I started taking an interest again, and I was like, oh, fantastic, like 40k's got a new edition coming out. Nice. People are talking about it being actually good. You know, since I'm here on the ground floor, I may as well get into it, and never really look back. Just
amazing.
I can't ever do anything by half, basically.
I think that plays well to lots of like GW stock prices. Is a lot of players can't do anything by half; they have to go all in. But nice. Did you come back in with Drukhari? See, I'm leading the conversation there. We're slowly getting there.
So yes and no. Oh. So I didn't. I came back in with my Crimson Fist because that was my biggest and sort of deepest collection. So when I'm sort of coming back, not knowing nothing about Warhammer as it's been for 4 or 5 years, I was like, well, I'll play my Marines. Played them a bit, played Guard a bit, played Knights when they were stupid.
Yeah.
But when the 8th edition Drukhari book came out, I was like, well, these look interesting again. I'll take them out the roof where they were at the time, and they ended up being my most played 8th edition army. I think I played about 200 games of 8th, and they were around 100 of them. So
nice.
They were by far the thing I was most consistent at playing.
Yeah, amazing. So that's kind of what we wanted to lead on and chat about, because you are, I would say, a Drukhari expert. I know of Drukhari. I sometimes play them and get it wrong, and 40k rules right to tell me off. But last week we all made content. You made an article. I did a stream about the balanced data slate. and that addressed some of the most problematic armies and problematic units in those armies to try and like tone them down. And I think it's quite interesting because Drukhari got toned down in one way, but then buffed in another in units that weren't being seen as much, but were still being used. And now I remember we've played before, once upon a time, you might remember.
Way back at the Bristol City Open.
Yeah, way back
Talos
then.
versus Repulsor spam, which...
Yes,
you know.
yes, I was running Repulsor spam, but you were playing Talos, and I think Talos are looking pretty spicy now. But what are your thoughts about Drukhari as a whole in this new meta, let's call it?
Yeah, so I think Drukhari is probably the most interesting faction coming out of the balance update, because they were obviously too good. They were stupidly too good.
Yeah,
you know.
for sure.
They even when I think Admech and Orcs were stronger, they were still winning more events and getting more top fours.
Yeah,
so I think
they've been more consistent with a more varied build, I think.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the way that John Lennon described it at one point was you had like a top four of Drukhari, Admech, Orcs, and Grey Knights.
Yeah,
and all of the other three kind of had bad matchups somewhere else, or they would lose, silly games like Marines kind of coin flipping with them, or
for sure.
Like Sisters could take them. Drukhari didn't have great matches into Admech and Orcs, but they pissed all over everything else.
Yeah.
Below them. So if you were in, kind of a weakish meta, Drukhari was the best choice because you would beat everybody else there pretty consistently.
Yeah.
Whereas those other armies would maybe kind of drop a game to something silly.
Yeah.
And that's why we saw this kind of consistent kind of high win rate, the consistent kind of high top fours, even when other factions were probably better at the very top level.
Yeah, they just as you say, just more consistent. So...
Yeah, and I think easier to play because the game plan is just jump out of transports, advance and charge into everything, watch it all go away.
Yeah, for sure.
There's not a lot to it. So yeah, coming out of that balance update then, so obviously Admech got hit very hard on points. Orcs got hit extremely hard on the army composition.
The limitations is extreme. So.
Yeah, and I think it's right. Yeah. I think the plane rule is fantastic. Planes have been a problem ever since they've existed in 40k. Yeah, the minute the Valkyrie or the Vendetta was a unit in 5th Ed, it was a problem, and they've been a problem ever since. There's never been a time when they've been good and fun for the other person.
Yeah.
So hard capping those definitely, I think, is a good change.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really good. I think overall the data slate is amazing. Like for the game, it's like a really, really big hard reset, which I think people have been like crying out for a while now. I've run out of clickbait titles. I had to go to competitive 40k is dead. And that's how extreme. That's how extreme it was.
No, the old one is dead. The new one's fine.
I've changed it. It's now is with a strike through and was. So I think overall as a whole, as a whole, the balanced data slate was really good for the game. It makes it feel it's like a little twinkle, a little spark of ember, being like, oh, that's quite cool. But I think Drukhari, again, the most problematic units like Succubus, Witches, Raiders, they're probably the most problematic and seen in pretty much every build. They got hit, but some stuff came down as well, which I thought was funny. As an example, at the LGT, there's a player called George from Real Space Raiders podcast, and he came 5th with Drukhari. And his list was Talos based, and I rebuilt it in Battlescribe today. And he came 5th 2 months ago, and it came down 5 points. It's only 5 points, but his build that came 5th came down in points, and that was to trying to fix Drukhari.
So I went on an episode of Real Space Raiders before the LGT, and George was dead set that Talos were great, and he was trying to convince him, and I was like, no, I think they're overcosted. I don't think they're that good. They just don't quite get there. Yeah. And then he pops up and goes 5-0 with them, and I'm like, oh, brilliant, Talos are great. I'm going to get mine out. I was completely wrong about that one, George. I did admit it, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that build in particular was to utilize the terrain, because I think a lot of Drukhari players are kind of like Raiders bad because I can't hide them, which is fair enough. So he went Talos heavy. I mean, it's like, I think I've got the list open now. It's like, you can obviously look at it if you go on BCP, if you got subscription, but it's essentially 6 Talos with Heat Lancers and the Gauntlet and the Injector.
Love the injector.
Yeah, min squads of Hellions, min squad of Witches. He's got the Murder Succubus. He's got the Funky Archon, and then one Raider and a bunch of Venoms. But obviously Venoms didn't get touched. But the units that went up, the Talos came down enough to cover the points difference and then some, which I thought was hilarious. So
that was similar for me. My list that I took to the Coventry GT just now went up, I think, a net 55 points.
Right.
Because, you know, the Witches went up, the Blood Brides went up, the Succubus went up, but then the Talos came down, you know, 10 points a model, the Homunculus went down 10 points.
Yeah.
And actually, in the end, it didn't make a ton of difference to that army.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I did rejig it a little bit, but you could have easily have played that by cutting like one squad.
Yeah.
You know, or slightly changing what you were running with the Witches, which is what I ended up doing.
Yeah, but it just doesn't feel like you lose anything. You lose maybe one unit. When they trade up so well, which is why Drukhari is so strong, because whatever battle you go into, you usually win, and you can go into something that's much stronger than you and win as well. You just trade up. So, do you think Drukhari have been nerfed, or do you think they've just been ever so slightly shifted into a different build?
So I think they have been nerfed, but not as extensively as the other two factions. So this is why I think they're interesting, because I think, as we said, Orcs and Adbeck just got made worse. They are weaker than they were a week ago.
Yeah, for sure.
With Drukhari, it is a bit more of a balancing act, and I think they are overall weaker because the stuff that traded really well has mostly gone up. Or they didn't touch Aliens and they didn't touch Court of the Archon either, which I was expecting they would. But then Talos and Grotesques went down, and I think that does end up making them overall slightly weaker. It is a slightly more limited list. It's a slightly slower list.
Sure.
You know, Talos are monsters. They count for stuff like Bring It Down. They can't do actions, or most actions. So you have a little bit less flexibility and a little bit less of like, I can send these 5 guys into those, 10 Space Marines and they'll kill them all.
Yeah.
And even if they don't, it's like 50 points, so who cares?
Yeah, true.
There's a bit less of that. But I think they're still very good. And I don't know that the Coven's base lists are the only thing that's going to be good out of the book now, but I think they're probably the thing that rises to the top, or what people are most interested in, coming out of the balance changes.
Yeah. And that's kind of like a similar build that we saw in 8th edition with their codex. Obviously, everyone was running Prophets of Flesh because everybody has a 4+ Invon. That's what they used to have anyway. And now it kind of feels like you can do that and then take all the other bits you like as well, because you've got the fact that you can mix factions in one detachment, which is cool. Yeah,
because we're seeing a couple of different things. So a lot of people are sticking to the same sort of raiding forces thing with the 2 or 3 patrols.
Sure.
So James Kelling, who's one of our writers, who has done very well with Drukhari this season, he's taking kind of an Arsis of Flesh Talos patrol, and then a Dark Technomancer's Kronos patrol, and that kind of gets him the best of both worlds in terms of what those things are good at. And you can bolt on you can stick an Archon in there for some reason. You can bolt on a Cult of Strife Murder Succubus. Just why not? Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Just put it in anyway.
Just throw it in there for free. Why not?
That faction restriction everybody has? Just ignore it. You don't need that. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, lads.
Which is weird, because I get it. Like, one of the things that sucked about Drukhari in 8th edition was how boring list writing was and how limited list writing was, because you couldn't mix the units at all. It made the list very samey. But it does feel like when we had the raiding forces and real space raids that kind of give you those things in a way that makes sense. Also being like, oh yeah, you can just make a patrol witch cult, but it doesn't have to actually have witch cult units in it. Seems a little bit odd.
It's very strange.
Like, they haven't quite thought through what people are going to do with that. And go, oh yeah, cool, I'll put Drazar and an Archon in there, and it's still Cult of Stripes or whatever. Like, who cares?
Yeah. I still got all the relics and stratagems that I want anyway, so who cares?
Yeah. Right? I get all my stuff. It's fine.
So basically, what we're saying is that they're not as strong because they are more limited in the builds that they can build. Because Drukhari definitely feels like the most well-rounded codex out there. Like, every unit seems to be decent and seems to have an option, or an ability in the game that can help you. Whereas other factions kind of feel like, here's some really good units, and then some other units that you've already bought, which we don't want you to use anymore, are kind of just like left by the wayside on the shelf.
Yeah, I think that's mostly true of 9th edition books generally. Marines is a bit of a mess because there's just so many
there's
units.
too many. I agree.
And so much of it was kind of a response to what they did with the 8.5 book. You know, there's just stuff in there that's screwed over because it was too good last edition.
Yeah.
Like
Centurions and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah,
like...
I mean, Centurions got an entire rule written just to fuck with them, which is as balance changes go, that's an extreme one. We're going to implement core just because we hate Centurions so much. We start running 18 of them.
I did enjoy Centurions, they're so cool.
They're kind of coming back. People are starting to use them again, but it really depends on, like, do you have stuff that's good that doesn't require core? And if you don't, there's no point. But if you do, then, you know, worth a try.
I don't know how I'd run them. I think it'd just have to be Raven Guard and hope for the best.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's Raven Guard, and being able to deep strike them still is good. You know, they kind of benefit from the chapter tactic fine. So there's something there.
Yeah, for sure. But as you're saying, so you're saying like Codex has been well rounded. But I mentioned Necrons. I think Necrons only just now feel well rounded because they just went, see all these units that we want you to buy. Here's core finally.
Yeah, I mean, I always hate that sort of want you to buy or don't want you to buy like conspiracy thing because I don't think GW thinks about it in those ways. I think they want you to buy everything all the time.
Yeah,
they're a manufacturing company. They make these things. They want you to buy as many of them as possible as quickly as possible.
Yeah. But it's what everyone believes, Liam. It's what everyone thinks.
I know. I hate it.
I like to play into it. Yeah, get angry, everyone.
Just think about what business they are. They're a manufacturing business. Their job is to sell you plastic. They don't want to make it harder to do that by making things bad. Anyway, rant out of the way. But Necrons, I think it's interesting because you can always see that kind of early edition Games Workshop thing where they go, here's a new design philosophy, here's a cool thing we're going to try with this codex to make it a more interesting approach. And then it doesn't work, and like the next book they're like, we gave up on that, we're just making everything core now. And it's cool that they've walked that back.
Yeah, I agree.
Because if you had that in 5th, 6th, 7th, even 8th, and you've got something as fundamental as like we didn't put core on these data sheets, that was it. You were done. If it just wouldn't happen, you'd be there looking at other books going, I wish my stuff was core.
Yeah.
Then it would work.
I was having a conversation with this a couple at No Retreat. We're talking about older editions and how like 7th edition, if your codex was broken, that was it. You were lucky because they didn't change them at all ever.
Yeah.
And if it was really bad, the same. It was very much like a coin flip of like if your codex was going to be good or bad, and you kind of stuck with it. And the only time they wrote an FAQ, they kind of did like the gamer survey where everyone sent in their questions. And then they released it as images on Facebook. That was the FAQ. And then 3 weeks later, they announced 8th edition.
Wow, I did not miss anything at all. So I've never heard anything that makes me want to play it. I've stuck by that.
Yeah,
it's been reinforced today.
It was really, really weird.
Yeah,
just little stuff. I know we're on a tangent now. We'll go back to core stuff in a minute. But like Imperial Knights, everyone played them the same way because obviously in 7th edition you had arcs for firing, and I was like, well, the Imperial Knight arms can move like 270, you know, so you can't shoot backwards, but you can shoot out the side and you can shoot in front of you. But they said no, you can only shoot. Basically, they move 90 degree, so you have a rhino-sized box in the middle of an Imperial Knight where you couldn't target them with guns, except for the stubber.
It's just like carrying an Amazon box. Like I can't see around this.
Literally. And it was so funny because I did do that once. I put a rhino in the middle of an Imperial Knight so it just couldn't Overwatch. Which is hilarious.
What a stupid addition.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think one interesting impact of that though, just briefly continuing this tangent, is something that's really fascinating. I think with kind of the modern 40k and them actually doing FAQs and erratas and stuff. The stuff often doesn't last very long, and you see people try and do the same thing that used to work, where a book comes out and it's broken, and you go, brilliant, I'll buy an army of it, and I'll paint it and get it ready for tournaments, and I'll take it out and smash faces. And quite often now, if you do that, if you haven't already got that stuff, or you haven't got an incredible ability to, buy, build, paint as quickly as possible, that just doesn't happen. I mean, the Orcs are obviously a good example recently, and I think that's part of why Orcs and why AdMech had lower take-up rates, was because they were such a huge investment of stuff. Especially
Skitarii.
Yeah, and I think both those armies, what was really noticeable and what differentiates them from Drukhari is if you had a Drukhari army in 6th, 7th, 8th edition, you probably own most of the stuff that made them good in 9th.
Yeah.
if you owned a 2,000 point, I mean, I've got one. I've got a 2,000 or 3,000 point AdMech army sat in the garage.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to play,
it's full of a Castellan robots, I bet.
Yeah, I've got Castellan robots. I've got Cataphrons. I mean, it wasn't a thing I ever played. It wasn't very good, but like even then, I did own 2,000-3,000 points of AdMech, and I could not even have come close to putting a competitive AdMech list on the table ever. You know, it would have taken me. I'd have had to do the entire thing again from the time the Codex came out.
Yeah.
Same with buggies. You know, there were people playing buggy lists in 8th Ed, but not very many.
Yeah.
And they didn't also own like 4 or 6 planes.
No, for sure.
So
for sure.
if you're looking at that and going, "Oh, should I buy in?" and you think, "Well, hang on, these are busted. Like these are just way too good. They're going to change that."
Yeah.
Your motivation to buy in really hard is just not there in the same way.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you don't have a run of like 6 months where you can go, "Cool, I'll aim for this tournament at the end of the end of January, at the end of December, whatever," and turn up with it then and it'll still be good and it'll still work.
Yeah.
Which just that just goes now.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was more prominent in 8th edition because they kind of said like, "Here's a Codex roadmap," which was kind of like, "Here's Codexes for the next 6 months," and every 2 weeks after a Codex, you'll get an FAQ, and they kind of stuck with that for a while. But then, like, it feels like, I don't know, they can blame it on anything, it doesn't really matter. But in 9th edition, it kind of felt like they didn't do that right up until last week. They were kind of like, "We'll write an FAQ eventually, you'll get one, get one someday."
So I think that there is some slight, I don't want to say unfairness. They're a giant corporation. Like, how much fairness do they need? But they did say a month, and they did generally stick to a month, apart from Book of Rust, which has never been FAQ'd for reasons that are beyond me.
Book of Rust has never been touched. I think AdMech, it took them 6-7 weeks, I think.
Yeah, I think it was, but it was slightly more stuff happened. They generally did one that was kind of like, here's the actual real basic stuff of like, we put the wrong words in.
Here's some grammar.
Which I think is what an FAQ is and what an errata should be.
Sure.
They shouldn't be, especially like a few weeks in, they shouldn't necessarily have to be balanced things. And they did do big FAQs. We got one in January, we got one in June. They happened.
True.
But they weren't as far-reaching as 8th Ed. They weren't as kind of interested in addressing lots of different things or picking up specific questions or trying to rebalance stuff with errata and that kind of thing. They were very much like, here's errata for things that we actually got wrong. Yeah. Here's FAQ questions for things that seem like they were pulled out of a hat, to be honest. There were FAQs that came out without any FAQs in. Yeah. And there was stuff that we were asking that we knew was frequently asked because people kept bloody asking us. Yeah. We get rules hammer, and every week it'd be like, "Oh, so does Montcalm let you fall back and shoot?" And we'd be like, "Well, we don't know."
Yeah, for sure.
We think so, but like, we don't know. We don't write the rules.
Yeah, it's stuff
and
like
it just didn't turn up.
Yeah, it's like Sisters. They've had an FAQ, but Argent Shroud and Cherubs is still really broken. And for those at home who don't know what I mean by that is Argent Shroud. If they make a normal move or an advance, they always count as stationary. But if you get out of a transport like a Dominion Rhino, you never count as stationary. So you always count and never count as stationary at the same time. Yeah. So which one's which? And then Cherubs, everyone loves the Cherubs debate. Is, can you shoot both at the same time? Can a unit use the kind of model use 2 at the same time? Can you use any at the same time? I don't know. It's just a weird one.
The Cherubs thing is interesting. So I think that one is genuinely our fault. Because I think most people would have been quite happy to just read it and be like, "Oh, it's the same as 8th Ed, like whatever." And I think it was James again and went, "Actually, this does read a bit differently." And we were like, "Oh, maybe it does only mean 1 a turn."
It's quite funny because do you know of Pleasant Kenobi? He's a Magic the Gathering YouTuber. He's moving into 40k. Every time we bring it up, and he's always like, "It's all Goonhammer's fault for writing this one line from nowhere." I think he has a grudge, and it's just one of those things. Sisters players, they hate Goonhammer.
Oh, I mean, everyone hates Goonhammer. Everyone's got a grudge. We were told we hated Drukhari for months after we posted that. True. That first article about them, and I'm just thinking, hang on, I've got like 10,000 points of these. I love Drukhari.
Don't you hate AdMech as well?
I own 2 different Drukhari t-shirts, man. Like,
you hate Drukhari.
My actual avatar on the website is an Archon.
But you personally, Liam, hate them. I know.
Oh yeah,
you told me one time in a text, I guess.
Just there on Twitter, like, "Oh god, I hate these things. Why does anyone play them? They're awful."
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so like FAQs, they've been pretty good. It kind of felt like, I guess, like probably like the last 3 months, I think it's kind of like been been an interesting time to play Warhammer, I'd say, because it kind of felt like a little bit lost in the dark. But you mentioned like talking about like your AdMech army, you got 3,000 points, but you couldn't build a good list, and Orcs couldn't really without buying a particular build. But you mentioned, again, pulling it a little bit back to Drukhari, they kind of could because people usually own everything. Do you think that's a design fault of the codex where some units are arguably just straight up better, whereas if we've already mentioned that like Drukhari kind of feels like a very well-rounded codex because they just seem to be able to trade up so well? Do you think that's kind of like Drukhari that are really good? Do you think it's bad writing, they've just kind of like not noticed that they've done that, or something else?
No, so I think this is kind of mirroring what I was saying earlier about you know, 9th edition books are generally pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, most units are good at the job they're meant to be good at. You know, most units have a job, which is a big change from prior editions.
True.
And most things generally, like they're just a bit better than they ever were in the past. You don't get the sort of like tax marines anymore where you're like, why am I taking these? Like, what's the point? I just have to fill my troop slots.
they do seem to be changing a lot of profiles in the new books, which is really nice.
Yeah,
it's annoying for me. I've played so long and everything's been the same forever, so I have to remember everything new. But you know, it's one of those things. I get over it.
Yeah, well, I mean that's it. You play forever. I mean, I started in 3rd edition, and a lot of unit profiles haven't changed since 3rd edition.
Yeah.
You know, they've apart from, you know, stuff like taking initiative away, a tactical marines profile between 3rd and between, you know, 8th edition really had barely changed.
Heavy bolter has always been strength 5. He's always killed one dude, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I think that's a big shake-up, and that's part of why 9th edition books feel that bit more powerful than 8th edition ones, because they've done that kind of fundamental kind of rework of stuff. But no, so I think the difference maker in Drukhari isn't so much that, you know, the units as a whole are better than their equivalents. I don't think that's true of AdMech or Orcs. I think both of those books have, you know, really good units in. But I think it's just because of the design of the codex. It's a fairly elite army in terms of model count, and there's fairly limited options. It's a fairly small range. Yeah, if you look at Cabals, they've got an Archon. You've got Cavalite Warriors, which you can upgrade to 1 unit to Trueborn, and you've got the Transports, which is 5, and then you've got
the Flyers, I guess?
Ravagers. Yeah, and then you've got like, you know, Flyers, which a couple of different factions can take, but each kind of sub-faction only has like, you know, 5-10 units, usually closer to 5.
It's very broken down. It is 3 separate armies that just like play together.
Yeah, exactly. And you if you own, you know, something like 20-30 warriors, 20-30 witches, 15 incubi, which is 3 squads of, you know, the minimum size.
Yeah.
A dozen Hellions. You had the makings of a powerful Drukhari army. You had some transports, you know, some raiders, which you probably did because if you've had Drukhari for a few years, that's what the faction is. It's transports and dudes inside transports.
Sure.
So it's very easy to kind of go, okay, well now we've written a codex that makes those things good. Brilliant, you've got an army. You can put it on the table tomorrow and you can play it.
Yeah.
With AdMech, they went the other way, where they wanted Skitarii to be good, and they should have been. You know, Skitarii didn't really show up very much in 8th edition, besides sort of the rusty 17 or whatever they were.
Yeah.
And they went, cool. Well, let's make Skitarii good, and let's make the unit size bigger, and let's make them, you know, shoot more and make them more defensive. And you're like, cool. Well, I'll take 120 of them, and it's like nobody owns 120 Skitarii already.
No, not that.
Why would you? Why would anyone own 120 Skitarii prior to April 2021? Like,
exactly.
What was the point? Or the planes. And I think that's the other thing, is Drukhari is an old range. So if you've been collecting them for years, you probably have them because they've been out since 2010, 2012, whatever.
Yeah.
With AdMech, you had new planes, you had the Scorpius, you had...
and that's only in like the last year or so, isn't it? Because that was like peak
those
pandemic.
Came out in lockdown. Yeah, those were out like May 2020. They came out right before 9th edition. So there's a good chance that you've just never had a reason to buy them because you haven't been playing in-person games. And also they're expensive and sold in small boxes, but you need lots of them. You want to buy Taraxian, you know, Taraxia units of 10, and you want to buy 2 boxes of 5. Dogs are what, like boxes of 3 or something?
I think it's a box of 5, and you want like 20 quid.
Yeah, and people are putting down lists with like 15, 20 of them. It's like, it's a big cash investment of stuff that you probably didn't have already.
True.
And same for the buggies. They're £30 a go, and you wanted somewhere between sort of 9 and 18.
Yeah, and now
plus
I'm
4 planes, plus the other stuff. Yeah. There's a few guys who might have had them because they really loved them, but most people weren't there with 9 squig buggies, because why would you have owned them?
Well, yeah.
You might have bought one because it was cute in 8th ed and gone, oh, this is a nice new model, isn't it? And then you go, this is quite a lot of work to build and paint, actually, and it's shit, so why would I have loads?
It is funny because I think the squig buggy, out of all the buggies, which are pretty bad, the squig buggy was the worst one, and then it suddenly was like the sought after one and sold out everywhere.
Yeah.
Which is,
well, it was some classic GW balancing where they kind of turned all the knobs at once.
Yeah.
They were crap in 8th. Nobody took them. There was no reason to ever take them.
Yeah.
And they went, cool, well, let's make them stronger. And also, let's make all the buggies cheaper. And let's make the faction traits better.
Yeah.
And they balance orcs around. There's a lot of orc stuff. But they went, well, it's quite unreliable shooting. Let's make it a lot of shooting. That it feels very orky. And then they went, oh, but also let's make it so you can build a shooting orc list. I mean, let's make it more reliable as well.
Yeah.
And they didn't really think through, like, what if you made it more reliable and there was more of it? And the answer was Manny wins Coventry by tabling every opponent.
Yep. Yeah. It is quite funny. It's quite funny how they do that. And you've got to think, like, how much do you think they spot and be like, it'll be all right? And how much they just go like, oh, actually,
I think it's a bit of everything. I think there's a certain amount of the designers miss stuff, playtest misses stuff. The playtesters obviously have their own particular biases or their own particular things they don't think about. Drukhari feels like a book that wasn't played by people who played Drukhari. It was played by people who played against Drukhari and remember what they were good at and just kind of tested that and didn't really think about, hey, we've made Raiders way better now for no more points. Are those actually good now rather than Venoms? So I think there's a bit of that where stuff is just missed in testing. I think there's stuff where you get different feedback from different groups and they're trying to kind of figure out which is right. Are orcs too good? Are orcs actually kind of bad because the playtesters have been going with 90 boys, which isn't good anymore?
Yeah. True.
Who's got the right kind of feedback? And I think the main thing for Games Workshop, and the thing that I'm actually really interested in the balanced data slate, which I think we've never really had before, apart from sort of briefly at the start of 8th ed, is a willingness to adjust stuff after release and in fundamental ways. So, like Necrons getting core, like giving Knights OBSEC, changing Death to the False Emperor, that kind of thing. They just never would have done that before. You'd have been stuck, and I think that's what leads to that kind of GW sledgehammer approach. Both buffing and nerfing stuff, because they go, well, we don't want to change the text. We don't want to change too much because people complain if we keep tweaking their units and they don't keep up with what's changed. So this thing is broken. Let's hit it 3 ways at once so it definitely isn't broken anymore. And then it's fixed, right? That's the same thing as fixing it.
Yeah, it's the same as turning all the knobs up. They decide they like to turn them all down and smash them on the way out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think the Castellan is the best example of this because it was so good. It was so stupidly good for so long. Yeah. And then they made it so bad. And there was absolutely no middle ground of like, maybe this could be a good unit, but maybe it doesn't need to be 500 points with a 3-up invulnerable save and T8 and 28, all that stuff. Yeah. Maybe we can just make it like a bit worse, but not. No, and then they went, oh cool, now it's 600 points and nothing works for it. Oh cool, okay. I'll just put this back on the shelf then. I've not played it since,
It does definitely feel like that sometimes. But yeah. So the balanced data slate is like a really, really nice addition, and we're going to be seeing those like every 3 months, they've said. But do you think they've missed anything, except for Chaos with 2 wounds? Do you think they've missed anything like humongous that they should have really like touched now? Or do you feel like they've pretty much got everything like hit the nail on the head?
I mean, there's tons of stuff. If you made me like 40k dictator for a day, there'd be an entirely different game at the end,
Hey, you got 40k dictator for 1 rule now, not the day. You got 1 whole rule or 1 thing.
Yeah, give me a solid 8 hours and the run of the codexes, and it would look entirely different. Drukhari will be even stronger. No, I don't think they missed anything fundamental in the sense of like, oh god, this is horrendous, or like, how did they possibly miss this? I think Grey Knights didn't get touched, and that's probably a mistake. Yeah. I can understand why they didn't, because they're pretty new, and it's you don't necessarily want to go like, oh, this thing's doing okay, so let's just kill it stone dead, a week after the codex comes out.
Yeah, for sure. Because like Grey Knights
probably going to.
Oh, sorry, go on.
they're probably going to have to do something. I mean, it's a bad codex in the sense that it's very boring and very kind of mono build.
Yeah.
And the mono build is too good. There's no sort of middle ground. There's a fantastic list in there and a bad codex.
Yeah.
And it probably needs kind of a fundamental rethink, which maybe this kind of balanced data slate thing they'll do a bit more of that.
Maybe for those at home who don't know what we're talking about, we're kind of like touching on the 6 Dread Knight list that seems to be like absolutely dominating in some places and then falling short in others. But outside of that list, there isn't really any other list. It's just Grey Knight's 8th edition really, with a few extra steps. Yeah,
and it's very much a case where you look at, well, here's an Interceptor at 24 points, here's a Purifier at 23 points. The Purifier is fine.
Yeah.
But why wouldn't I pay 5-10 points per squad and get Fly and all the other stuff that that the Interceptors do?
Yeah.
Instead of the Purifiers, or Purgation squads. Like, why would you ever take those compared to a Dread Knight, which you could also have for not dissimilar points?
Yeah.
And then the Serenators, where they're just fundamentally overcosted. They've compared them to like a basic Space Marine Terminator without thinking about stuff like Deathwing or sticking them in Deathwatch kill teams or whatever else.
Yeah.
And they've gone, well, this costs more than that does, so that's probably about right. And you go, right, but what about all the other rules that those get in Space Marines in 11 different codexes? And they've gone, oh, bloody hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, we forgot about those. Oh yeah, what if they were like Deathwing? That'd be pretty good, wouldn't it? You're like, yeah,
that would be
that's
nice,
why you should have.
That's
why you should have costed them differently.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, Grey Knights are a big one, and I think talking about whether Drukhari really got nerfed, I think what's really interesting is seeing people who stopped playing Drukhari all of a sudden. So I mean, Nanavati was already playing Grey Knights over in the US. Brad Chester, who's played Drukhari, all the way through since the book came out, is suddenly on Grey Knights instead. Yeah, maybe those guys are just bored. Maybe they just couldn't get the stuff together for a list they liked in the time they had for the I think it was Warzone Atlanta this weekend, was it?
I think it was Warzone Atlanta,
yeah. Maybe Brad looked at his army and went, oh bloody hell, I haven't got 9 Talos or 6 Talos, I'll park those for a minute. But maybe he just went, look, actually Grey Knights are the best army now, and that's what I'm going to take because they're the best thing I can put on the table. And that's certainly a thing people are thinking. Whether it bears out to be true is worth seeing how results go, but that certainly feels like a thing where they could have maybe just tweaked them a little bit and didn't. And they're just waiting for more info, or they're waiting for whether a new codex comes out. Maybe Custodies or Gene Stealer Cults gives them a bad matchup that kind of brings that win rate down. We'll see. And the other one that's interesting and is already kind of seeing some play is Hiveguard in Tyranids.
Yes. Hiveguard.
Yeah.
I've got a funny one because they've always been the best unit. They've always been the best unit in the Codex. And then they got them points a couple of months ago, and the Hive Tyrant, I think. And then they just went, you know what, here's even more rules, enjoy.
Yeah, so it's a bit like saying about planes where they've never been good and fun at the same time. I think Hiveguard are in a similar role, and this was the same problem with Squig Buggies, and it's kind of the same problem that like Imperial Fist had in 8th with Whirlwinds and Whirlwind Scorpius is stuff that ignores line of sight, much like planes. If it's good, it's just an absolute no-brainer choice because all the things that you can do to mitigate shooting just stop working.
Yeah, for sure. If you have a unit that ignores half the game, like as a base, as a thing, it just ignores one of the things. All it needs is a measurement. It doesn't need sight.
Exactly.
It
doesn't need to move. Doesn't need to expose itself to danger. Your ability to hit it back is very limited. So yeah, why wouldn't you? And Hiveguard in Tyranids, again, Tyranids have had a pretty rocky run of it for years and years now. They've never quite seemed to get them right. Yeah. But ever since Hiveguard have been in the book, they've been a top tier unit, and they've usually been a unit that in most armies would look fantastic. Yeah. And in Tyranids they just look even better because everything else around them is so bad. So whenever you get something that buffs Tyranids, the first thing you do is look at Hiveguard and go, well, what does this do for them? Does it make them better? And the answer this time is yes, it does. Yes, it really, really does. It makes them incredibly better.
They got so many good buffs. Like, the Leviathan is like it's quite interesting because as an army as a whole, Leviathan is kind of like, here's every Tyranid rule you have access to in the Codex in one faction, and it doesn't feel broken, which I think is quite telling of the Tyranid Codex as a whole. But then you put it all on Hive Guard.
Yeah.
When you put it all on Hive Guard, you get something that is very, very obnoxious. I think it was there was the Shark Tank of an event this weekend, the Northern Warlords, which is kind of like every good player ever from the country is holding one random GT.
What a roster! Have you ever heard of any of these players? And they are there. Yeah,
they are there. Yeah, exactly. And I think the win was, I can't remember the list exactly, but Manny did win. With
18 Hive Guard,
18 Hive Guard, 6 Leviathan, the other 12 as Kronos, because Kronos is obviously standstill and reroll ones to hit. And they have all the psychic powers and stuff. So you can basically do it with Leviathan and do it with Kronos at the same time. And then he was taking Gene Stealer cults for the blips. He's done like a minimum patrol for the blips, which was essentially to stop planes coming too close because you can't move within 9. Stops anything getting first turn charge on you because you can't go within 9. Well, I mean, you could charge some acolytes, but, you know, good job. Now you get roll stomped by 18 Hive Guard, which is hilarious.
Yeah, you've killed some acolytes and you're right in front of the Hive Guard. Good job, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. So our Tyranids, do you think Tyranids are just going to be like the new meta for a while until they get an inevitable nerf?
Yes and no. So I think there's definitely a list there. You know, Manny obviously went 5-0, played. I'm sure it wasn't terribly fun to play against, watching 18 Hive Guard shoot you from the other side of the table out of line of sight.
Some buildings are destroying me because I can't see anything.
Yeah, exactly. That ruin is shooting at me again. Fantastic. But he didn't win his games that massively.
No.
You know, I don't think there was any 20-0s in there.
No, because they were using the WTC system where it's points differential that you get a point, so you have it out of 20. So if it's a roll stomp, it's 20-0, and if it's kind of like a really close game, you might get like an 11-9 or a 12-8 or something like that.
Yeah, and into Dan's sisters on that top table game, he got an 11-9, and
I think he drifted between like 12 and 15 max.
Yeah, and maybe it's, you know, he scores 100, but the list doesn't really stop you scoring, so you get 100 to 90, and it looks like a close game on paper, but actually you could never win it because he's always going to score 100. Like, maybe that's how it goes.
I reckon it's probably closer to the opposite because Hive Guard is so static.
Yeah.
Then it's more like,
and you do have some. You have some ability to contest objectives. I think he had Gene Stealers in there, which are great for kind of just like fast obsec and just tearing something off an objective and that kind of thing. But yeah, it doesn't immediately feel like as oppressive as like Orc Plains did, where you watch Sean Naden lose on turn 1 because his entire army is dead. It doesn't feel maybe quite as strong as that, but it's still an effective 24 Hive Guard shooting you from out of line of sight with the double shoot.
Yeah,
and exploding 6s and 2s re-rolling. All the stacking buffs.
Yeah,
it does feel a bit like 8th edition again. You know, you remember towards the end of 8th when you got stuff like Possessed, where it was like, let me just put like 15 buffs on these guys. Like, give me 5 minutes. I'm just going to like read these out to you. They're all on that unit, and now they're amazing. They were shit before, but now they're incredible.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's something that happened with AdMech a bit.
With
that
that
had a lot
one
of
unit
stacking
with all
buffs.
The poker chips or whatever it was, and just like
everyone's
got them.
Exactly, and the buffs coming from this Marshal. Well, how's he casting that? Well, he's got a radio, so he's called it in from 42 inches away. You know, that kind of thing. And the Nid buffs, they've been very clear at very in some ways what is good design, where they've gone, well, let's not just put like a bunch of +1s to hit on here because those don't matter anymore. You don't want like a million ways to get +1 to hit. You want different things. But that means you could put all these different things on Hive Guard and they get all of them.
Yeah.
And suddenly you go, oh, hang on, these do quite a lot now, don't they?
Yeah. And
for no more points.
Right. And then they have loads of cheap units anyway, like Hormagods, Termagods are all obsec, basically fearless, and they're obsec, and they're like 50 points a unit or something like that. So
Yeah, exactly. And like, the Tyranid Codex is a weird one now. It's so old. It's one of the oldest codexes left in 9th edition, and it has a lot of weird stuff in it, and it doesn't have core, and there's a whole load of stuff there. You think maybe Tyranids come out in like June, and then this all just goes away because it's fundamentally changed how all the stuff interacts. But in the meantime, it's
pretty spicy.
Yeah, it's something that'll ruin a few people's days, I think, in the interim.
Yeah, for sure. That's quite interesting. So I think that was a good run about competitive 40k as a whole. But on Discord, in our Discord, we have a little channel called Talk Show Topics. If you are watching live right now, !Discord in chat, and I've asked them to directly ask you questions about like
Oh God,
anything. If they could ask you anything, type deal.
I'm gonna open this because I have got it. I'm in Discord. I'm wondering what absolute.
Yeah, you do have to be a member or a Twitch subscriber to join this section.
No, I'm sadly not a member. I follow you on or subscribe to you on YouTube. I haven't given you money, sadly.
Oh, that's okay. We accept Bezo coin as well in form of Prime.
I'll send you an NFT.
I'm quickly gonna we're gonna go through these questions and then we'll go through the live chat as well. So if you're watching live, do not feel left out. It's not that we've ignored you. We just had a very insightful conversation about competitive 40k bad, Tyranids good.
Exactly. I dread to think what these absolute deviants are going to ask.
There's some quite tame ones, I think, and then there's some more interesting ones. What do you think of AOS?
I broadly like it. I haven't played it, and I do want to. So I got one of the Dominion sets that came out with the with the edition launch and went out as review copies. I have the makings of a Stormcast army. Yeah, it's very much like one of those things where I've got a backlog that stretches into decades, and the idea of me ever getting around to painting all the stuff I own is mad.
Yeah,
and especially with I've got a 6-month-old baby now, and
congrats.
Yeah, cheers. And yeah, it's great for the idea that I'm going to get more painting done rather than less in the future. Doesn't seem likely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think the 3rd edition rules look good. The game looks fun. The models are amazing. At some point, I will try and get around to actually playing it and see how it goes. I know we've got people who love it. Alice heads up our AOS team. We've got some really kind of fantastic AOS writers and people who really love the game. So yeah. I see all that stuff and I think there must be something here because they're really enthusiastic about it, but haven't yet had the chance to actually play it on a table. So
that's fair. I think it's I do think it's a really good game. I think it's taken everything that 40k did well and then kind of did it in its own little way, because it has it's like, oh well, you don't really have stratagems except for like a few that everyone uses, but then everyone has command abilities which are essentially stratagems in a way, which is quite interesting. And I think the way they do command abilities is a much better way than like stratagems and stuff work in 40k. And the fact that
I think there's a lot of stuff in 40k where you go, why is this a stratagem? It's like in the general stratagem section, like this should be a unit ability. It only applies to one data sheet. Why isn't it just on their data sheet and it costs a CP?
Yeah,
and that's exactly what AOS does. They put them all kind of in the war scroll.
Yeah, for sure.
I think the other thing that's kind of hurt AOS since 3rd is just the release schedule has been so slow, and that's probably a COVID thing. It's probably getting shuffled around for prioritizing 40k for just kind of shipping delays and that kind of thing. But it came out in June, and we've had 2 battle tomes, and half the stuff didn't even come out for those until last week. The dragons aren't even out yet, I don't think.
Yeah, I think the dragons.
It just feels agonizing to get the stuff.
Right. So the dragons, which are arguably the dragon riders. Also, thank you very much for the sub from Walking Death 69. Appreciate it, bud. The dragon riders are arguably one of the best units in the book, and you just can't buy them. Yeah.
They just don't exist yet, which is crazy.
Yeah, and then Cruel Boys, the bolt throwers, were arguably one of the best units in the book, for Cruel Boys in particular, and they were only available in Dominion until a week ago.
Yeah,
which
I mean, in Dominion you can get, so whatever.
Just £125 for 3 models and then loads of crap.
I mean, your RGS is trying to shift it now. It's like £70 now. It's fine. Go and buy 3.
For their Warhammer Day pricing, and then crossed out not a sale.
Exactly,
which is hilarious.
I mean, that was fascinating, wasn't it? Like Games Workshop running a sale.
Again,
what was that about?
It's Warhammer Day pricing. It wasn't a sale, as I was told by someone who works for Warhammer.
Yeah, I mean, they don't use the word sale. If you read their investor reports, they're very keen on. They never discount anything. They never do sales. But that was a bloody sale.
That was a very weird loophole, wasn't it? Very strange. Very strange.
Yeah, it's Warhammer Day pricing. It's fine.
They must have had a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I think they responded to a demand that people made, and maybe slightly misjudged it. But you remember what Twitter was like all the way through 2020, 2021. Like a box comes out and people are rabid for it, and then it sells out in 2 minutes, and they go, "Oh, Games Workshop, FOMO!" Like they just wanted to sell out of them. It's like, no, they wanted to sell you twice as many, and they're angry they haven't.
Yeah, exactly.
And now Dominion comes out and there's loads of them. Everyone's like, oh, Dominion didn't sell. They clearly didn't think it. They clearly made too many of them. It's like, yeah, because you kept bloody telling them to.
Yeah. Yeah,
every time one of these boxes came out, you kept screaming and stamping your feet and insisting they make more of them so you specifically could buy one, and now they have. And
yeah,
if you didn't buy one, that's partly their problem, but it's also kind of partly your problem.
Yeah, for sure. It's quite interesting because I think Games Workshop, their pre-order runs, obviously they release stuff every week, which keeps them on top and keeps people talking about them. But for big boxes like that, you think there'd be more of a run-up, because it's usually announcement, and then 2 weeks later the box comes out and you can pre-order it, and it's a 2-week pre-order. Whereas anything else, it's like video games, for example. My brother just got the new Halo Xbox. Everyone's talking about that, and he pre-ordered that 3 months ago, and then it came.
I think it does speak to a bit of the psychology they have around releases. I think a lot of people in Games Workshop are of that kind of hobby butterfly kind of mold, where they pick up whatever new release is out because it's cool or interesting, and they kind of just assume you play all of their games. And they don't ever want to kind of be like, oh, in three months' time, the new Sigmar is coming out, so don't worry about any of the shit we're releasing now. It won't last.
True.
Don't worry about Shadespire. Save your money for Shadespire. Christ, that's about 5 years diacasm. Save your money for Dominion when it comes out. Then they want you thinking about that when it's out, and in the meantime, they want you to think about everything else they're bringing out.
Yeah, true. It's just quite an interesting business model. Clearly the business model is working. I should not be criticizing it whatsoever, because it clearly is working. It's just quite interesting on the outside to look in.
Yeah, well, in my real life, I'm a chartered accountant, which half the audience has just gone to sleep already, or started making lion tamer jokes. But
quick joke. That's what I tell people. Do you know, when you're in a taxi, you tell me I need to hear your story, but now I'm in a taxi, and people, they're always like, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" Well, I used to say YouTuber, and then it just leads to more questions. So I tell people accountant, because then they don't ask me what I do.
They stop.
They're just I do numbers, cool. Mate. Sorry, anyway, as you're saying, in your real life, you're an accountant.
Yeah, so it's an interesting kind of intersection of what my professional interests are and what my kind of hobby interests are. And I do find the kind of business stuff at GW really interesting, because I think it's a business that most people don't understand very well, and that's in some ways really, really anachronistic. It's really kind of backwards in terms of how it does things.
Yeah.
But that does mean it works in interesting ways that sometimes produce unexpected results. I mean, they're a business that doesn't borrow money ever for any reason.
True.
They got an overdraft in COVID for the first time ever, and they didn't use it and then cancelled it because they were like, "Oh, we don't need this."
Yeah, because they paid all the fail out of their own pocket as well, didn't they? Which is good.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean they just run it in all through cash, which if you look at how 99% of businesses are run in the modern world, is just mental. Nobody does that.
Yeah.
Why would you cut yourself off from cheap credit? And they just don't seem interested.
Yeah.
But when we've had stuff like 2008, or when we've had COVID, and you have these kind of big sort of market shocks that slow a lot of people down or kind of cause kind of financial concerns, GW is just not even affected.
Yeah.
Because they're sat on stacks and stacks of cash.
Yeah.
And they don't need to worry about is the bank going to start calling in loans, or are we going to be able to service our debts, because they don't have any. Which makes them extremely weird in most circumstances, but makes them quite good in negative kind of economic conditions, which is a strange strength for a toy soldier business.
Yeah. They always just seem to do much better. People always seem to find money for toy soldiers. About what they're doing.
I think that's part of the demographic. It's people like me who. We got told, COVID, work from home. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm working from home now. Nothing else has changed in my life.
Yeah.
Which, if that's your market, that's very different to people kind of going, bloody hell, I'm about to lose the house. This is really affecting my financial situation. I've got to stop buying toy soldiers. That mostly isn't their demographic. Yeah. Although I'm sure, some people did have difficulties during that time, but it makes them, again, have very different sort of economic incentives to everybody else.
Yeah. It's quite interesting. Okay, are you ready for the next question?
Yeah, go on then. I dragged AOS out into a digression on GW business. So.
Not to dwell too much on the economic outcomes of GW, but which Primark would you like to see released next? See, I told you it was tame. It gets worse, I promise. It gets worse. We butting you up.
I'm sure it does. So, I mean, I think I think for the game, it's probably like Angron or Fulgrim, just because the best thing for the game would be for those Chaos factions to get fleshed out and to have kind of the World Eaters and Emperor's Children.
Yeah, there's lots of rumors of World Eaters Codex one day. I have no idea.
I mean,
lots of people are like,
it makes total sense to me.
Yeah.
The idea that you've got Death Guard and Thousand Suns and you don't do the other two seems mad to me. So
yeah,
I'm sure that will happen, and I'm sure we'll get those Primarchs.
Yeah.
Selfishly, Sanguinius, because there's beyond Drukhari and the kind of Crimson Fist. I love Blood Angels, and that was my first army in Warhammer. I think that's one that's unlikely, given that he's one of the few characters that is really, really dead.
He's very
not
dead.
just like he's not sort of disappeared into the warp or like gone off to like fight Drukhari in the webway. He's like, no, he's super
very
dead, and it's really important he stays dead.
Yeah, I think the other way they could do that is if they took the Sanguinor, gave him a plastic model, and basically was the embodiment of Sanguinius.
And I think that's probably what you would get is you'd get some kind of Blood Angels refresh, and it would be, here's the Sanguinor and he's souped up a bit, or here's kind of like a Sanguinius like warp entity or something. Like he's not really there. He's like a Catan or something where he's not really kind of a physical thing. But that feels a lot more kind of out there compared to like, oh yeah, we brought the lion out and just made him plastic.
Yeah, for sure.
Which feels like the more likely Imperial Primarch to come back.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. On your chips, do you prefer gravy, curry sauce, or mushy peas?
Gravy, curry sauce, or mushy peas?
I
think curry sauce.
Curry sauce,
yeah.
I reckon. I could tell you something. It'd be gravy if you were up here.
I mean, you've got to check if I can eat the gravy. Is the other thing. Don't forget. So.
Oh yeah, very true. Very true. My apologies. Have you seen my war suit? Have you heard the story of the war suit?
Your war suit?
Yeah.
Yes, I have. I mean, you've now got about 6 of the things, haven't you?
Yeah. I had 3. I came home and then only had 2, and now I have 4.
You should try this more often.
Yeah, just
like go to tournaments, just like lose a model. Like, oh no, I've got robbed. This is so terrible. Can someone buy me?
I lost a Contemptor with guns, with all every gun option.
I mean, when they nerf the Volkite, maybe you'll want to lose the Contemptor. You know?
It was quite fun. Have you seen the Instagram account of Mikey's Invicta Warsuit?
Yeah.
I think he's got like 250 followers now, which is hilarious. Say it's been up a week.
Traveling the world.
Yeah, exactly. So we've talked about like how you started Goonhammer. There's one that says, how did you end up with the Goonhammer gig? Were you like one of the founding fathers of Goonhammer, or was it kind of like someone was like, oh, we're going to make a blog, do you want to join in?
Yeah, so I mean, I was there from the start. There was kind of a bunch of us that all pitched into it. I think this is something that's kind of interesting because a lot of people seem to think that we're like a big company, or that we have employees or this kind of thing.
Yeah.
We occasionally get questions about our hiring practices when someone's mad at us for whatever reason. And we're not.
Moment. Can I speak to the manager?
Yeah, literally. I mean, I'm the manager, I think, but
right.
We have people complain at us and be like, how did this get past the editors? And it's like, well, because the editors wrote it. Are you stupid? Like, can't you see whose names are on there?
Wrote it and published it.
Yeah, like nothing goes on the site that we don't want to be on there, and if it's on there, yeah, we're okay with it. But yeah, I mean, there's 35 of us or so who own the thing.
Wow. That's
which
quite a large
is,
team.
Yeah, I mean, it's a group project. It started out as a group of us doing it, and we kind of added a few people over time, people who are either interested in writing for us or who are kind of friends of friends or whatever else who, fill a need for us. Like, we didn't have many Sigmar writers. We had people who were kind of helping out with Titanicus or that kind of thing. And we just kind of bring them in because they're already kind of contributing.
Yeah.
And then we have a bunch of contributors who kind of pitch stuff in who don't own it either because they don't want to or because they haven't been around very long or whatever other reason. But yeah, I mean, we don't particularly hire people, and I mean, there's 30 odd of us who are essentially unfireable because we own the thing. You can't really get rid of us. So when someone gets real big mad and it's like, oh, why did you hire this guy? You've got to fire this guy. And I'm like, yeah, that's not really how it works here.
Yeah, for sure. And you all, no one like does it full time. You all do it as like a side project, right?
I mean, we all do it full time. It feels like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
none of you do it as a job. It's all
exactly.
Like a side project.
Nobody's making a living out of this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and it's free to read, right? and you don't charge for like articles or anything like that. So what I will say is, if anyone does love Goonhammer, I've just posted a link to their Patreon. I didn't
Yes.
I've just posted a link to the Patreon of Goonhammer. So if you are interested and do want to support Goonhammer and Liam and his team of 30 people plus, then do consider becoming a patron today to support the website. It is very good.
Yes, we would love that.
So,
thank you. Please give us all your money. We'd love it.
Yeah, exactly. Once you've Twitch primed, because that's free, chat. That's free to do. Go to Patreon and support Goonhammer. So I now got an interesting question for you. Are you ready?
Okay.
Have you ever been pegged?
No.
Have you ever thought about it?
I mean, I've thought about a lot of things, but I haven't done it. So
Okay. That was quite tame. I once asked Winter's SEO that question. He didn't know what it was, and then when I saw him 2 weeks ago,
I saw the video after after Jib just now, and him just being like, "Are you seriously asking me this again?"
Yeah, because he came up to me when I saw. That was the first time I saw him since.
Just there, like, I googled this.
Yeah.
I googled this. I found out what it was.
He was like, I googled that, and I was like, yeah, it's still in the video. He's like, is it? And I'm like, yeah.
Poor Winter. It's like bringing your dad to a 40k tournament and bullying him the entire time.
It is. And then he won by accident, which is hilarious.
Yeah, with that bloody stupid Dark Angels army, which I mean, it was a clever plan.
Yeah, I think he played the 2 hardest matchups in the 2 perfect missions, where he just kind of like just set objectives and don't do anything else because it's Scorched Earth and what's the other one with 6 objectives and Dawn of War deployment. That one.
Overrun.
Overrun. Yeah, that's the one. It was quite funny because at that point, because there wasn't enough players and there was some weird draws happening as well. Before that game happened, Adrian with his freebooters list was undefeated, and Winters had lost the game. But Adrian had played everyone else above Winters, and Bridger, who is obviously from Tabletop Titans as well as Adrian, basically told Winters how to beat him before the game started and said, sit in these buildings and don't do anything. And then Winters sat in those buildings and didn't do anything and then won, which is hilarious. And I don't think Adrian was very happy about it.
Just parks himself up.
Yeah, I don't think Adrian was very happy. He was very pissed off about it, which is hilarious. So I think he might have had a stern talking to on the flight home.
Just getting told off. Don't you ever do that again. Don't tell me how to beat me.
Yeah, exactly. What's in the Amazon box? I think there's like 4 people who have asked what's in the Amazon box.
I have genuinely no idea.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Well,
they turn up most days. My wife has bought something. I don't know what it is, and I'll find out when she tells me.
Yeah, that's good.
Just don't worry about it. Head empty, no thoughts, all good.
Brilliant. So Gumbelina asks, as a content creator, do you consider yourself a content creator?
Yeah, I mean, we create a lot of content, so I guess we must do.
Yeah, I thought so. Do you feel the need to do well in tournaments / ITC scores in order to have a more perceived clout behind what you publish? Well, that's a really good question.
No, I feel the need to do well in tournaments because I'm a sick individual who hates losing. So that's pretty much it. I think it's interesting because this is definitely kind of a pushback we've had from some people. Is why does Goonhammer know what they're talking about? Like, how can you possibly talk about like why Art of War know more than this? Nick Nanavati said this, and like, well, it's like, yeah, I know because he told us that too.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any particular pressure. Like, it's nice to have that, and it's like a nice kind of extra, kind of status, I guess, that if people do well. It's been quite good having Kelling do really well this year with Drukhari, because when we're talking about what the meta is like, what's so strong, we can go, look, this guy's like 10th in the ITC right now, he's playing Drukhari, he totally believes these things, like, we're not just sort of saying them because we're jealous or whatever.
You don't have to like ask for another guest. You can just be like, we've got a guy.
Yeah, exactly. Although we always love having guests on. We get some great contributions from people. We've had we've had Stephen Box on. We've had various sort of different people from Art of War. Every so often it's quite funny because we'll get someone like, we'll have a round table on something, and like people will be like, what do you guys, how do you know what you're talking about? Like, this isn't what like Art of War said, and it's like, Siegler's in the article, right?
You
can find out his opinions on the subject because he's expressed them in the article you're responding to.
It's crazy when you have people with different opinions come together and have a chat about something, rather than just everyone echo chambering each other. Very bizarre.
Which I think is a strength for the written thing, because we can kind of get that and kind of get people in kind of asynchronously, and you know, it's not a stream where people have to kind of, you know, drop in the middle of the workday or late in the evening or whatever to get together. We can just be like, look, here's these guys who know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Let's kind of get a multiplayer Google document on the go, and then we can kind of refine it into an article afterwards.
Like it. That's cool. As a side, me answering that question as well, I do feel a lot of pressure to do well in events. Thankfully, I've been doing all right.
Are you going to start at some point?
Listen, Liam, I beat you that one time.
Yeah, no, you are. You're 1-0 against me, and you've avoided me ever since. So.
Yes, I'll only play Northern events from now on. But I
do the same to Jay Malin. I beat him once. I'm never playing him again.
It's the best way. It's the best way. Just assert dominance that one time. Never have to do it again.
100% record. Numbers don't lie. 100% win rate.
Exactly. But yeah, because I criticize competitive Warhammer so much, because it's easy content. I do feel like a very big pressure, like a very overwhelming pressure sometimes to do really well. It does stress me out a little bit, but that's just because I have one of those egos, I guess. That's not really an ego; it's just a meme, but people think it's an ego.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think looking at it slightly differently, doing well. I mean, yeah, like if people are kind of consistently turning up and going like 04, 05, 14, and they're sounding off about the very top tier of competitive play, you got maybe to sort of look at it a bit and go like, do you really know what you're talking about, or are you just kind of mad at competitive Warhammer in general? Which we've seen. You know, you can find plenty of blogs out there of people kind of rocking up to tournaments and doing badly, and then kind of blaming it on the competitive scene just playing wrong. I think those are kind of, you know, maybe a bit silly.
Yeah.
But I think the divide for me is less between like, you know, are you playing at the top there, and you know, playing against, you know, Manny and Malik and Dave Gaillard and, you know, all those kind of top UK players. And you know, are you up there competing with them? Because I mean, there's only so many people in that position, regardless.
Yeah.
You know, there can only be so many top players before it ceases to have any meaning.
Sure.
So you know, not worried about that. But I do think there is kind of a division of like, are you actually showing up? And I think one of the things that's really negative about a lot of kind of online conversation about competitive Warhammer, and frankly about anything, but you know, competitive Warhammer, you know, in specific, is the number of people who don't really participate in it, who just kind of feel like they want to sound off about it anyway. Yeah. And you can see it on, you know, Facebook groups, you can see it on Reddit, you can see it anywhere this stuff gets discussed, is the people who clearly have not ever gone to a single store, like 1-day tournament. They've never been to an RTT, they've never so much as heard of any GTs, and they're sort of sounding off about it like they're about to go and, like, you know, play Siegler at the top table of LVO, and you're just thinking like, fine, like, you can have an opinion, but I'm not really interested in it until you've at least kind of participated. You don't have done much. I'm not there, you know. If you genuinely have just gone to a bunch of tournaments and gone 0-3 or like 1-4 or whatever, and you're like, I'm a casual player who just likes to go to competitive events, I just have some thoughts about them while I'm there, great, you know, you go. If you've never so much as like darkened the door of a 8-man RTT or 8-player RTT, maybe just rein your opinions in a little bit on what competitive play looks like until you've crossed that threshold.
Yeah, it is quite interesting, I think, like kind of like looking at, like, especially when there's like a post of a new list that's just done well on Reddit or something like that, and you kind of like scrolling through the comments. Some of them are a little bit, by some I mean most of them are quite suspect, but like the not to like gatekeep, I mean, I hate gatekeeping, but like the understanding of like how competitive works, and it's like kind of like over their head, as it were. Yeah, some comments.
So. Absolutely, and yeah, you'll see the guy. A lot of people are just honestly asking, you know, they play a few games a year, they're interested enough to kind of follow it, like whatever.
Yeah.
But you definitely see the guy who's like, I don't understand, like Abnec are rubbish, I beat them every week at my LGS, and it's like, okay, well, who's the Abnec player? Like, what are they playing?
Is it your mate?
Or usually the reverse. Yeah, usually the reverse of like, well, I'm playing 4 Stratoraptors and I can't win, like, how come that's happening? It's like, maybe you're just bad at Warhammer.
Yeah,
like, it's okay. You can be. That's fine.
That's okay.
But if you're there looking at a list that's crushing every super major in the world, and you're going, oh, it's just not that good, really. Like, I can't win with it. You're like,
yeah,
maybe the problem isn't the list.
Maybe there's an issue here.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Let's double check. Has Mikey ever been asked to contribute on a Goonhammer article? That is a question. It's not like I'm trying to like fish that one in. I don't think I have. Yeah,
but
I think
no one's asking that at all. Mikey's just dropping that one in. I can't remember. remember.
No, well, I am the
something.
second best
Maybe I'm just
Warhammer
thinking of the
YouTuber.
streaming.
I am the second best Warhammer YouTuber, don't you know? Second to Winters
Absolutely.
SEO.
Second to Winter, so I should go and talk to Winters.
But
right?
I did beat Winters
That's
in a
who I
battle
need to-
report, so 100%
That's
win
it.
rate.
So by the transitive property, you're actually the best YouTuber because you have beaten him in the past. So.
Well, yeah, true. Well, spoiler, I am playing him this week, and with our list from the
well, there you go.
Legends, so I am going to be.
There you go. You can prove it. You can sit there and
exactly.
watch his Deathwing
Do nothing.
on stream and on YouTube, just standing still, doing absolutely nothing.
Ginger Steve,
no,
the
but,
second part of
yes.
this question was, is it because I write Northern?
It is. It's because you write Northern, and we have a horrible
understand.
prejudice against Northerners,
I
which you can also
understand.
add to the Goonhammer list of grudges, as we just hate the North. Anything north of the M4 is just not worth going to.
I agree. But if you are watching live right now, that is all the Discord questions. So if you do ask a good question, I'll like it. Then I will ask Liam, because I think, can I keep you for another 10 minutes?
Yeah, sure.
Is that
Why
right?
not?
Yeah. Okay. Where can we ask questions? Master Arcade, you can ask in the chat right now.
You have just asked a question, so ask it.
That was a question. No more questions can be asked. One per person. You've had yours. Noob Corpse on Twitch says, where do you guys feel the new update to Astra Militarum orders and the Rust getting a better save puts them? I know you used to play that Guard. What do you think about Guard now? Do you play them more?
Yeah, so I mean, I haven't taken the Guard out since 2018. I want to say I did my first couple of tournaments back in 8th edition with Guard, and then switched them out for Drukhari, switched them out for Knights. So yeah, I've not played them in a long while.
Well, analytically, what do you think?
None of our guys seem that excited about it. I think it's interesting. They get some stuff that, you know, maybe gives them a bit of a lift and makes them feel less like physically painful to play.
Yeah, like flat better save is always nice when it doesn't change any other way. It's just nice.
Yeah, yeah. Russes will stick around a little bit longer.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice that you can order your full payload manticores now, because again, similar to Hive Guard, what we've just done is buff the best out of line of sight shooting in the book.
Yeah, true.
But I don't think it fundamentally changes Guard in the same way that, say, you know, the core change for Necrons or I think Knights are the ones that really did well out of the buffs. You know, OBSEC Armigers were
crazy.
That's a big change, a really big change.
Because everyone was running the free blade that can become OBSEC, right? I think, is that right, or am I making that up?
Yeah, so you people were already doing like a sort of triple OBSEC Quaestorius Knight list, because you can use Armigers to change the qualities so that you get all the bad ones onto them. Yeah. And then you put OBSEC on all the big ones, and then you've got 3 OBSEC Knights running around that's kind of doing okay. I think Daniel Axe is a guy who's done really well with it in the US. I want to say someone over here was doing something similar, but I can't remember who. So I think they've done really well out of the buffs. Yeah. For Guard, it feels a bit more marginal. You'll have more games that feel like a game. Whether they sort of go up to sort of, you know, tier 3 or tier 2, I don't think it's enough to change. You know, same as we said about Tyranids, it's the oldest book in 40k now, Guard. So I think it's just not enough of a fundamental change to really kind of bring them up. I think they should at least be, you know, less hopeless, which would be nice.
Yeah, I think because like the oldest codexes, these Chaos, Tyranids, Guard are all kind of like came out around a similar time.
Yes, if you assume Chaos is the same book.
Which is it? I think it might be.
I kind of think it is, to be honest. I think it's more of an 8.5 rather than a 2.0.
Yeah, it's kind of like
it didn't feel like they changed enough.
Yeah, but with just extra supplements, it's got 2 expansions rather than 1.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's probably it. Guard is the oldest book that is completely unchanged. From its original form.
What's your cat's name? Says Captain Chaos.
Which one just came through?
Black cat.
That is Ash. Oh, he's off. Bye. He's realised we've spotted him and he's run away. Yes, we have Ash and Misty, which is
very cute, very cute. I love it. Actually, you can't hear it, but we have been listening to lo-fi Pokemon and chill the entire time, so just as nice background music. Can you see people dropping a Raider and Trueborn for 2 Ravagers now? Says Mikey's Wargaming. Going back to Drukhari is a nice question.
I don't know about dropping the Trueborn. I think Trueborn is still really good. But yeah, I mean, I played a Ravager a few times previously. They were kind of fine if they were in Black Heart or Obsidian Rose and they got the rerolls. They were okay.
Yeah.
I think you'll see them more. Yeah, now that it's like 30-point difference for 3 Dark Lances versus 1 Dark Lance.
Sure.
Yeah, you might see them more, and you might have fewer sort of those trade units. So maybe you don't have all the Incubi or all the Witches or whatever, and you go, cool, I don't need the transport capacity, and I can drop a Raider and put a Ravager in, and that makes a more shooting overall.
Yeah.
But I don't think you drop the Treeborn for it, because the Treeborn are just super good with the with the 2-up with no modifiers. It's so strong. So I think you probably see them plus a Ravager maybe.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, I've got 2 questions, and these are both from Discord. There's one on Miss and one that's just been added. So, for people who don't know, the way we do it, we go through, we prioritize the Discord questions because they are people who support the channel directly. So I'm prioritizing these 2. Why do you hate Tau? I missed that one.
Why do I hate Tau?
I missed that one on the first run.
Tell you what. So, I was the recipient of our Chalnath box. Here are some Tau.
They built them, are you okay?
Even paint them. I've built them and base coated them, so I'll prime them. So they're on the way to painting. They're on my desk.
Excellent.
I don't hate Tau. I think the models are quite nice. I think it's a faction that can be, again, sort of anti-fun for other people. Especially sort of the 8th edition list that was very sort of heavy on drones, that was very heavy on riptides, that was not very maneuverable, that kind of just castled up and shot. It was a very sort of negative experience because you either turned up and you beat them because they were no good, or you turned up and you lost because they shot you to death, and then that was the game. You were watching them do a DPS check.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping they get a more interesting codex in 9th that does more, that lets them kind of play more of a game that's interesting for both people, rather than either the Tau players going, brilliant, all my guns have shot you, or you're going, cool, I've just duffed you up in combat because you didn't do anything with your shooting.
Yeah, for sure.
I would like them to ever be good and interesting at the same time.
I think they need a really big revamp, because if they just go guns better now, we're just going to see the same again. It's just going to be a leaf blower and be boring to play against, and probably to play with, unless you really enjoy watching your opponent suffer.
Yeah.
Which some people are.
Exactly. And even even AdMech, they had a lot of kind of melee stuff. There was kind of more to do. Tau generally don't even have that. So if they turn up and it's just like, we made all the guns 20% better and 20% cheaper, that'll be extremely dull and probably won't even still be good.
Yeah,
which is the other danger. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's hope for the best.
We'll see. Okay, we've got one more question in Discord. It's a legit question, so you know it's going to be good, and it is a legit question. What are your thoughts on making 1,500 points the standard for 40k competitive? Able to play more games faster, makes it more competitive because more games are played, and less barrier to entry. What do you think? 1,500 points. Do you think it could be the new standard? Do you think it should be, or why not?
See, this is interesting because it's one of those things where if you'd asked me 10 years ago, I'd have said, obviously 1,500 is the standard. Why would you ever play bigger? Bigger games are stupid. And now I look at 2K and I'm like, that's the perfect balance point. I think the answer is the points number doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Particularly, it's how GW thinks about the game and how they, balance around it. And I mean, that was always a bit of a joke in the past. Like, oh, GW balances around this points value. It's like they don't balance around any points value. They're not even thinking about balance.
Yeah.
I think in addition where we have very defined kind of point sizes, and they clearly are thinking about the game at 2,000 points match play as being, the balance point. That's probably what's optimal to play in terms of that's what will get the right kind of level of stuff on the table versus, ability to kind of cover objectives versus ability to have enough guns, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't have any kind of philosophical problem with it being 1,500 instead, but I think what you find is you either kind of end up playing a game that's slightly too small for the board it's on, or a game that's way too big for the board it's on. With not a lot of middle ground. Something I think also came up quite a lot in. I played a few sort of 8th ed events that were at 1,750 or smaller points values than 2,000. And what you quite often found was that you just never quite had enough stuff in a lot of armies.
Yeah.
And you want to avoid armies having everything they want, and that was a big problem with AdMech particularly, was they just had everything they wanted for every situation. You never had an angle of attack that they didn't have an answer to.
Yeah.
But I certainly remember playing games where you're going, well, I've got 3/4 of a good army, but there's no way to get the other quarter in anywhere without just dropping the thing I'm doing, and then it's a different army and it's still not quite there. It's getting that balance right of like having enough stuff to kind of play an all-comers kind of game that you need to take to a tournament.
Yeah.
Without just having everything. And I think 2000 at the moment does that better than 1500.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think when I was like, while you were talking, sorry if I wasn't very inputting much, my camera completely just turned off, so I managed to fix that. When I was playing in 7th edition, the standard used to be like 1750 and 1850. And then when 8th edition came out and all the points went up pretty much across the board, everyone just went, right, we're playing 2K now. So it kind of like, games actually like, the way we make games faster is not to make the game different. We're just going to make you play with less. So everyone was like, okay, we'll just play with more then.
Yeah.
Which is quite funny.
Which was definitely a feature of early 8th. And I mean, yeah, the balance point has changed all over the place. I mean, it used to be 1500 was what you saw all the time. And then it was, I think sort of end of 5th, it was 1750 or 1850. It was one of those things where like regional metas were very different. The UK used to be very much like 1500 to 1750, and then I think ETC settled around 1750, and that just kind of became the standard in Europe. Americans always seemed to play bigger. You know, if you were on sort of Dakar or Warseer back in the day, there was a lot of kind of Americans posting like 2,000 point lists, and the European side was just like, what the hell are you doing? That's way too big. Why are you playing at this stupid points level?
Games?
Exactly, and then they played 2,500 points in the old Ard Boys tournaments. GW sort of last run at competitive play was, let's play 2.5K unpainted, like whatever. Let's just YOLO, throw as much stuff on the table as you can. Which was mad.
Yeah, for sure.
2K, I think in 9th edition feels about right, and the points don't have any inherent value. The size of the game depends on the relative cost of stuff rather than like the absolute cost. 2000 doesn't mean anything different than 1500. If everything costs 20% more, then that's just where you land.
Yeah, I guess people just think that if you only have 1500, as you mentioned, you can't quite get everything in. So maybe the meta is completely different. Whereas I'm not so sure. I think the meta is just the same, just everyone has less models.
So I don't think that's true, actually, because it does change, because it depends like what you can do with those points. So I think the lower points you go, Necrons look better at smaller points values because there's less stuff that can take 20 warriors and just delete them.
True.
So Rian becomes generally more valuable. Death Guard become better because they have a lot of stuff that's just kind of like efficiently costed, and they're very tough. So again, there's less stuff that just kind of goes, cool, well, I don't care about your -1, I don't care about your 5 feel no pain from whatever. We're just going to blast through you and ignore all those things. You're less able to do that at smaller points value. So it does change the balance of stuff.
Very true. Yeah.
But it also creates skews more strongly than 2K because you're less able to handle different things. If you can take 1,500 points of knights, in a smaller points format, that has relatively more value because they're tougher, because there's less stuff out there that kills them.
True. Yeah, you're less likely to kill as many in a single turn, so they're more likely to body you quicker. So. And
you force more choices if people can't necessarily take enough stuff to kill knights and enough stuff to kill hordes and enough stuff to kill marines.
Yeah.
And they compromise somewhere, and generally
they'll have bad matchups.
It'll skew something. Yeah, you get more sort of those kind of rock paper scissors things, and I don't think rock paper scissors is ever a good way to balance a game, or certainly not a miniatures war game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in rock paper scissors, it's great balancing technique.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the same when your rock cost you 1,500 quid or whatever, and spent 50 hours of your life painting it, and then it's been nerfed. And now scissors beats it.
Oh well, Liam, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. It's been really good.
Thank you for having me on.
Have you got any exciting things for Goonhammer upcoming that you want to spill the beans here, or drop a little breadcrumbs for people watching?
Exciting things for Goonhammer. I mean, we've just had the site redesign, which
I love your sprue logo. I love the sprue logo. It's very cool.
Yeah, I really love the sprue logo. I mean, this is an underrated thing for Goonhammer. I think that makes us, that makes us so we do stand out with sort of other written content is we have Rob's art.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, that's a USP for us. And I mean, Rob's just an absolute machine. He draws that stuff in no time at all, really. Yeah, he's so good and so quick. And it really does have like a particular style, which I think it lends the website, which you know, other people don't have.
Yeah.
I mean, we're doing all our usual stuff. We've got you know, in 40k terms, there's obviously an interesting competitive innovations this week where events have taken different kind of spins on the FAQ. They've either adopted it in full, or they've taken a few bits of it, or they've only taken the nerfs or whatever else.
Interesting.
So we'll have an interesting kind of meta this week. The one that we haven't trailed yet is kind of the opposite of our competitive aspect. Looking at the absolute worst lists you can build in Warhammer.
Oh, excellent.
Watch this space. This has been educational when we're talking about like, can you really make a bad army with 9th edition books? The answer's probably been mostly not that bad. With some 8th edition books, you can make some truly awful armies. So enjoy seeing our concoctions when that comes out, because there's some real awful stuff in there.
Oh, I can't wait. That sounds amazing. So
yeah, look out for the Tower in particular. They're a twisted creation.
Oh, brilliant. I can't wait for that. So obviously people can find you at goonhammer.com. There is a link in the description, or you can use !Goonhammer. I think the mods have added to get a link to their Patreon again.
Very good.
So thank you for adding that. So where else can they find you? I know where, but I want you to tell them. Where else can they find you in particular, or the Goonhammer things?
Me specifically. So Goonhammer, yeah, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram whenever I remember to update it. I think we're Goonhammer TV on both of those.
Okay.
We don't make any TV, but there was nothing else that was free, so we grabbed that. Me, basically everywhere now. I'm just like GH Corrode. Main one's probably again Instagram. Again, when I remember to update it.
Yeah.
Or Twitter. I have to say my Twitter probably is not tons of wargaming content. If you want to see someone screaming angrily at people, then that's more kind of what you're getting from me. I don't recommend it as a follow.
Unless
it also deletes after a week, so
unless it's an Innis thread, it's pretty much
yeah.
pretty much just
I talked to Innis about competitive 40k, but we're angry then too. But about Warhammer. And then yeah, everything else is
Tesco,
politics.
I can't believe you've done this. Why have you given me
exactly.
You know, all that stuff.
Yeah,
it's great.
If you're going to get mad at us for being too social justicey, definitely don't follow my Twitter.
I have been telling a lot of people to fuck off on Twitter this week. I don't know if you've seen.
Yeah, I have. I've enjoyed it very
much. Lots of
but
transphobes or homophobes, so it's been fun. It's been fun. Also, if you are here and you're a transphobe, fuck off.
Yeah, fuck off. Also, Nazis, fuck off.
But yeah, that too.
Have to keep saying this, but
yeah.
Thanks, Talavera. Now we do.
Well,
Nazis,
yeah,
fuck off.
yeah. Yikes. I did enjoy, because I saw a thread on that about that on, I think it was Reddit, and it was just like there was like a screenshot of Goonhammer just being like, also if you're a Nazi, fuck off. I was just like, well done, very good.
Yeah. Well, we stand behind that one.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you very much, bud. I'm going to carry on streaming now, so I'm going to hang up on you if that's okay. But it has been a pleasure. And again, all links to the description. Go follow him on Twitter if you want to see angry rants. Go and follow him on Instagram, and also check out goonhammer.com.
Yeah, cheers. I will catch you later.
Thank you very much, Liam. It's been a pleasure.
Cheers. Bye then.
Bye. And that was Liam. That was Corrode of Goonhammer. What an excellent gentleman. What a great guy. A very, very fun chat. Very, very fun chat. So thank you, everyone who's watched live and enjoyed the chat with Liam. It's been really fun. I thought it was a really good conversation about competitive as a whole, about a little bit of everything. Thank you very much, Des. I will do that. Cheers, buddy. Thank you very much. So we have not ended the show. It is meme time. Exclamation point Discord. If you've been painting along tonight and you've got some memes you want to share, then go to the meme channel. That is free. It is not paid for. It's in general chat. So make sure you join and look at that. So I've got to scroll a long way because Magoo shouted at me for not looking at the memes last week, even though I stole one and put it on my Twitter. So I've got to scroll back a long way. It's all about Invicta Warsuits. It's all about other things. So join Discord. If you have been painting, there is in community content, there is a channel called Model Showcase for Stream. And I'll go through what people have been working on this week as well. That was really good. Well done. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm trying to get used to like balancing, because I appreciate that when we're talking, I'm not like responding to the chat, which is like kind of like a bit rubbish for people watching. But I'm trying to like cut in with things that people are saying, and especially like answering questions that people have asked on Discord, and then also like kind of like getting you guys at home to like jump in and ask questions as well, because I don't want you to just think, oh, it's just between the people who pay and whatever they got to say. It's just like I'm trying to like balance it, so I'm still getting used to it because it is still a relatively fresh show. So thank you all for bearing with me. You know, it's obviously been a big change since we had Jay, because I was like kind of like trying to test the format, and now I'm trying to like bring other people on and bring people in. But thank you. Mikey, did you get the top 3? No, I had to pay for it. Won the marble stream because I lost a bet. Okay. When was the first meme? We're going to start here. Competitive YouTubers, Winter's SEO. This is a good meme, to be fair. It's a chat show. Mother Trucker need to be talking a lot more. Yeah, exactly. I've got some really good ideas. I did think of a really good idea with Liam, but I didn't manage to get it done in time. But making it more like a talk show. That's all I'll say. Coming soon. I have an interesting and insightful post about / slap post more memes. 200 players, Beastman players. This is very good. I like it. Oh, very good. Including rare image capture of the highly aggressive and specialized tyranid organism designation, the Ramzigaunt, dedicated to refinement of harvested genetic material. Where's the fucking Tau sauce? Oh, brilliant. Behold, Mikey's new Warlord Titan. Excellent. For anyone who doesn't know, last week at No Retreat Legends, I had to use a teacup as an Invictor. Because someone stole it. I'm the scat rack. Oh, mate. Wanted, dead or alive, Invictor Tactical Warsuit, DM at Hellstorm Mikey. We have found him. He is on Instagram. Mikey's Invictor Warsuit. It's very funny. This is Valrak running away with it. Dickhead. Mikey Herbert, baby come back to the Warsuit. Mikey's Invictor Warsuit sends holiday snaps. It has been sending holiday snaps. There's actually a whole thread in here now. Mikey's Invictor Warsuit right there. Make sure you go check it out. Finding Invictory. I think we saw this one. I think I might have seen this one actually. I think this was the new one. The mighty Invictor Warsuit infiltrates enemy lines. It's a good one, that one. I'll tweet that one. Can my Invictor see yours? That's brilliant. I played on that board. That's at Badminton Cafe, I think. I played on that table. That's very cool. I like. That's a very good meme. The Khaine Society supports this action. Yeah, so this is the Instagram account. I don't know who runs it. I feel like I know, but I don't really know. It's very good. It's very, very good. Orc players to meta chasers. You get what you fucking deserve. Do you mean meta players to orc players? Or just general orc players, do you mean? Also works. GW balance sheet, the meta. I like this. I love Mario. This is very good. Orc Buggy and Admech players Monday. Last Tuesday. Nate says, GW won't do anything about the meta. It's too profitable. GW. Well, first of all, through God, all things are possible. So jot that down. Oh my god, you smashed this one. I'm so sorry I missed all these. GW balance sheet. Orcs heading to the top tier meta. Excellent. This is good. Yeah, get in, bin. Get it, bin. Get gone. I love the Photoshop in here. I love the white line in between them. I love that. Orc players. How do I become a meta army? GW. That's the neat part. You don't. GW. Orc meta chasers. Admech meta chasers. What are they? Are they just like plastic toys? What's the Shibi doing? Balance sheets, points changes, GW. Mikey discussing the Lehman Russ and someone asked about GSC. Yeah, I don't know if GSC do get the 2-up save. I don't know if GSC do get the 2-up save, you know. I've got no idea. Because obviously, like, the Imperial Guard credits got updated, but they have a Cult Lehman Russ. But then they can also take Brood Brothers, so I've got no idea. Orc players after the balanced data slate. Is that Blood Axe? I don't know what type of Orc that is. I don't know. CSM players hearing balance updates, still only one wound. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. Chaos players waiting for that extra wound. Just sad music. Big sad piano in the background. Just like this. Waiting for that one wound, like. Why are you playing? Oh. Where is that one wound? Please, GW. I've been waiting for 15 months. 15 months yesterday was the announcement of 2 wounds. 15 months I've been waiting. I don't have my black and white face anymore. No, I don't. I'm sorry. 15 months I've been waiting for that 2 wounds, and I still don't have it. Lol, I don't care. I don't play Chaos. Who cares about Chaos? Chaos bad. Hey, thank you very much for becoming a member. Balrog, let's go. Thank you very much, bud. We appreciate it. Thank you for joining the Primaris gang. Thank you very much, bud. Really appreciate it. Let's get some hype in chat for Balrog. Thank you for becoming a member. Really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who supported the channel with Twitch Primes and subscribes and memberships and watching and liking. Like the stream, there's 100 people and only 60 likes. I don't want to play with you anymore, says Andy, because Imperial Knight's big PogChamp. When Chaos Marines cutting off their spikes. Yeah, I tweeted this one, Magoo, by the way. Who made it? Was it Magoo? Oh no, it was Danny. I think I tweeted this one. I'm so sorry. Balance sheet, iron hands. That's very good. Iron hands, big poggers. They're still loving life. Thanks, Barak. Really appreciate it. Welcome to the gang, bud. Admech, big PogChamp. Admech balance sheet, not PogChamp. Orc meta players right now. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. I love this. Meta chasers. No, stay with me. Don't leave me. Where is... That's a good edit. I like that one. Where is he? I still don't have my Invicta, by the way. It definitely got stolen, put in the sea. I make a video about not putting plastic in the sea, and then a week ago someone threw my Dreadnought and made it worse. When Chaos Space Marines get a random yet much appreciated buff that no one asked for. Noise Marine. Oh god, he's going for the jukebox. Very good, very good. I know I'm firing through these. There's a lot to go through. Me, like, we even work at 8:10, hoping to get there for 8. Zoom, zoom. Oh, very good. Is this just a meme? This is just a meme. Ken Sattler bought these 1 year ago, way before the current meta. Oh, lol, obviously. 2 War Trikes, 2 Booster Blasters, 8 Scrap Jets. 8 Scrap Jets! 9 Shot Jump Dragsters. What a meme. What a meme. Let's just fire through. Chat, let's do it. This is why I'm going through them all. Because Magoo started posting this. Because I'd seen them already. Because I looked at them on Tuesday or when they went up. But then I was like, oh, there's no memes because I'd already seen them. What's a codex? Brilliant. This is good as well. I tweeted this at Varak yesterday. Well done, Steve. Mikey's Invicta Warsuit. You don't know who I am. You know nothing. Oh, it really isn't. I'm not sure who this is, but please create an alt Discord and join Hellstorm Discord for Uber memes. I'll even create a channel for Mikey's Invicta Warsuit. Hi, Jake. What do you mean, who is this? It's me, your friend, the Invicta. I'm at work at the library right now and already been in trouble today for telling my manager she's a heretic, but I'll sure create a Discord later today. It's there. It's there. There it is. The Invicta Warsuit having the best time. Oh, we lost it. The big Smurf doesn't want to know that guardsmen are free. You can take them. I fly on Cadians and 2 Creekers. The many faces of art. You're missing one where it says cunt across his head. That's what you're missing. You need that one in the middle. But very good, Steve. Very good. View stonks. Forgetting Magoo's memes. I really need to get back on the meme train. You do, Gumballina. You do, mate. You do. They're always very good. Always very appreciated. Everyone's memes are appreciated. I am your father. There's a war suit running away. No, come back. Family holiday 2021. That is the war suit. That one there. I don't know where you found that picture from, but that is the war suit that was stolen. It's just got a different arm. That face there is the best face I've ever painted ever. Discord needs to find a difference between these two pictures. They're the same picture. Oh, brilliant. Discord needs to know which is undefeated. Is this just a meme in general? Oh, there it is. There it is. Once upon a time. Once upon a time. That's what I did. I sold out. I sold out to Mini Wargaming 4 years ago today. For views and clicks and subs. Listen, I got 600 subscribers in a single day, and I've never been able to beat that record. It was worth it. The dance was worth it. The dance gave me those 600 subscribers, gamers. It was worth it, and I'd do it again. You know, Matt from Mini Wargaming, I'd do it again. Just fly me out because I can't afford to fly to Canada. So, Jake, what are you reposting memes for? Scumbag. Mods to ban him. Oh shit, he is a mod. Damn. Well, I'm a competitive community. This is trash. The time of many's over is now the time of the bugs. The Discord to Liam's was in the box. I feel pressure to perform well at events. Liam, when are you going to start? Very good. Very good. Very, very good. Okay, let's have a look at models. Let's look at models. I'm going to have to fly through this because I am overrunning. But Sparrow Plug painted some Infinity Minis in the last 2 weeks. That's pretty. Cape's beautiful. Shiny armor. Love that as well. Matty Pugh should add a hot tub to that dance. You will sure beat your record. They're cool. Like them. That's a cool little track. I've got an Infinity Battle Report I've not finished editing yet, but I will finish editing it and I will release it, I promise. I promise. But I haven't finished editing it yet. It's quite a long one though. And I've recorded it differently. Thanks for following. I recorded it differently as well, so it's a bit different. These are very cool, man. Very cool. Got me a watcher done and dusted over the weekend. Nice, bud. Nice little watcher. Nice highlights on the cloak. Real nice. Very cool. Very cool. Bokuja working on his far sights. This is like a custom far sight is built with some custom fare and a cape. It's a very cool conversion. I like it. And the base is really nice as well. 99% painting done for far sight conversion. Nice work, bud. Yeah, that looks really cool. Very, very cool. DN stuff. The Custody Stealer wanted a Strike Master for Deathwing Army. Only to find out there's no model for this new unit. Weird. So began project buy rescue, turning from eBay to convert to a character. What are your thoughts? I'm still not 100% on colours of wings, so would appreciate some help. I think the wings are beautiful. Oh, what's this? Also, some extra terms. Deathwing project nearly complete. Ooh, nice. I love that conversion. That conversion is really cool, man. I think either you stick with green or you go white, I think. It just looks very heavy green because it's Deathwing, but there isn't green. I really like it. What's a Strike Master? Is that the... Is it like a captain? A Terminator captain or something? Because I think it's the Deathwing Knight Sergeant, if I remember correctly in that supplement. The little picture is like a sergeant. Kind of like what shield captains used to be for Custodies. That box of 5. The reason they come in units of 3, but you sell them in 5s, is because when it first came out, it used to build 3 Custodies, a shield captain, and a banner. And now it does just that, but they're separate units. But it used to be a single unit in 7th. But I love this conversion. I think it's really cool. I really like the addition of the wings. A lieutenant. Ah, okay. Okay. I think the wings are really cool. I really like it. A Terminator lieutenant, that's very good. I think it's nice, and it stands out quite nicely. I think you've done a good job on the conversion. I think the green looks good. I think the green does look good. I really like it, the end stuff. Great job. Again, the Deathwing will be coming all really nice. Looks like you've got quite a sizable force now, which is cool. It's very cool. These are really nice. I love them. That bolter there, what's going on here? What's going on here? Some people don't. That video yesterday, like, some people drill bolters or some people don't. Mikey's count. What are you adding there? For nods. What's going on here? What do you mean $1? What does this mean? What does this mean, Fnord? I don't understand. I don't get it. I didn't promise anything. Why are you doing this to me? Are you just playing with commands? Great job on these DN stuff. I really like them, and I do like the conversion. I don't think you should change it. I don't think you should change it. I really like it. Can't wait to see it all together. It's gonna be really good. Last models for the Escalation League. Pick one of Necron Canoptech Acanthrites. This is the Dark Mechanicus Necrons, right? I promise to release Infinity. Why is it dollars? Oh, I don't know. I will release it. I spent time recording it. It was fun as well. It came out really well. I just need to edit it. Editing time is at a premium right now, though. These are cool, man. I like the conversion. Some Immortals as well. Got some Skitarii Vanguard. I like this one. He's cool. Very cool. Nice work on these. I love the vials as well. Bergosaurus working on a Redemptor with a. Is this a plasma cannon or is it something else? Ask Valrak. I don't know. Very cool. It ain't much, but it's on its work. Building terrain today for the club. Better way to build the old bastions. Use them as GWL buildings. Ah, nice. That's clever. That's clever. I have got loads of bastions that are just rubbish now. Look at that cool sticker right there. I thought string was needed. Right, okay. That's a great, nice way to build it. I like it. Nice work on the terrain, bud. Hero the hero. Oh shit! Is that Halo? Oh shit! I need the STLs for these, bro. Are they loads of Spartans? Got Warthog. I need the STL right now. Right now. I will ban you. That's very cool. Very, very. I love the Warthogs. They're cool. Oh shit! Look at that, little drop troopers. These the old smoke launchers. Yeah, the vials are really cool. I thought they'd just be under spray or something, but the smoke launcher is a good idea. And the Grav. Oh shit, hero! You are a hero. These are very cool. Looks more like a Puma. They're UNSC army. I need. Where are they from? You got the ODST. Shit, son. I need these right now. I'll make a video about them because Halo's coming out, so I'll try and get some views. Are they like legit? Are they from a designer? Or are they just like random? Or have you made them yourself? That's really cool. That's really cool. Halo's coming out in like 3 weeks. That'd be like 2 weeks. Sorry, that'd be a really good video. To be like reviewing, like painting up like Master Chief and stuff from 3D printing. Shit, son. I need them. I need them right now. Hero, you need to DM me right this second. Hero, I need you. What meme template? Have you added a meme template? Oh, it's just me doing the dance again. They upscale from Halo Ground Command. Oh, that's clever. That's clever. I'll have to find them. I might DM you if that's okay. Infinite Beta is out. Yeah. Yeah. It's a closed beta though, isn't it? It's officially out on December 8th, maybe? 6th? 8th? Something like that. Something along those lines. It's open on Steam. Servers are dying. Ah, right, okay. That's why I'm like, oh, I don't need it then. I thought it was a closed beta. That's cool. I'll check it out. I'll probably play it tomorrow then. Okay, but that is everything, gamers. I've overrun a little bit, but thank you very much for tuning in. It's been really fun. It was really fun to have Liam on from Goonhammer, so shout out to him. I'll hopefully be releasing a few clips this week. I will say I'm not going to be live this Wednesday because I have a score to settle with Winter's SEO. I'm going down to his. We're going to play a game. We're going to play a battle report. So there'll be no stream this Wednesday, but I will be live Thursday with Tom. With old Tom, and we're going to play a live battle report, and we're hopefully going to be playing a live battle report every week on a Thursday, but it's leading up to some exciting things, so make sure you tune into that if you can. He's going to be playing Blood Angels. I've asked him what army he wants me to play. He hasn't told me yet. Buy him, please love me again. Of course I'll love you down the cheese, as long as you don't buy anything that I should be buying. But thank you very much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube, the stream is going to end. If you're watching on Twitch, we are going to raid someone. Are you going to Bath afterwards? I probably will shower on before I go. Won't lie. I'm probably not going to go to Bath. No. What's in Bath? Oh, Lawrence. I forgot about that. The place. I'm not. Happerblab is streaming. I'm going to raid Happerblab. He's like OG. He's like OG streamer. So we're going to raid him. I've not spoken to him in a long time. But if you're watching on live on Twitch, then please follow the raid. Go and check out Happerblab. I used to have a command on my stream that was like, ooh, matron. Because he said it one time, so I recorded it, made it a command. But go check him out. Go say hello. He's not streamed in a long time. Or just hasn't streamed when I've been live. But yeah, I'll be live again Thursday. Make sure you check out the channel on YouTube for more videos. Check out my yesterday's video. It's done really well. And yeah, thank you very much, everyone. And hopefully I catch you in the next one. Bye-bye now.